welcome to another Zelda podcast. I'm David, your host today, and today I am joined by two very special guests. I have Dan McCoy and Matt McQueen here from the Fan Fiction podcast hanging out with me. Matt and/or Dan, whoever talks first, how are you?
We're doing good.
We're doing good.
There it is.
I tried.
Dang it.
But no, I
we
do.
practiced this
we did.
over
in the
and
shower
over again.
together.
I
Well,
heard, yeah,
I mean-
it was weird, but
Saving water is important.
Well, it was back to back. It wasn't that.
It was G-rated.
gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me for the Season 6 premiere, Episode 1, Season 6 episode here.
Opener.
I do feel special about being on episode 1. That does feel good.
Yeah, it is
Nothing
cool.
but warm fuzzies.
Ooh,
Well,
yeah.
to be honest, you know what it was?
All
Was
downhill from here.
All down.
a little behind the curtain. I knew that I'd be in St. Louis this weekend, and we talked about whenever I'm around Dan or any of the other AZP crew, we try to take advantage of that and record some episodes. And we also realized, I think Dan, you reached out a while ago and you said, "Hey, when in fan fiction we're going to start doing guests.
Sure.
Do you want to be on the Jurassic Park episode?"
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I don't mind saying this, and I'll probably speak to it on the actual fan fiction episode, which we are behind the curtain recording immediately after recording this episode. I love talking about Zelda, but Jurassic Park is really probably my blood fandom.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's my thing. My desk at home is just a mixture of Zelda characters and Jurassic Park characters, all just kind of
I
lined up.
seriously thought you were going to say my desk is nothing but the amber with the mosquito in the middle.
Oh, that'd be
Just-
amazing.
Just one.
I wouldn't
Just
even be able to
one
focus.
Item, you know,
I wouldn't even be able to
one
focus. I would just
mosquito.
look
just
at it.
stare at it. It's like I get no work done.
I spared no
Well,
expense.
It's bad no expense.
We really wanted you in season 1 to
Right.
come in and do a Zelda episode with us. We wanted to actually book in.
Oh, that's right.
We wanted Zelda for me and Matt, and then the last
Correct.
episode of the season was going to be you.
That's
but then
right.
everything happened in life and all that other stuff.
Well,
so
I think we pulled 2 episodes from season 1. One from 18 to 16, which is perfectly fine.
Right.
I already told. Matt, I'm actually meeting you in person for
Correct,
the first
yeah.
time, which is awesome.
I know. I love
but
it.
I always gush about fan fiction and how hysterical it is and how much I enjoy listening to
thank
it.
you.
And so,
Stop.
even though this
Stop.
is
you stop. You
you.
stop it.
gosh, this is going to be
Okay.
something, isn't it?
This episode will be 4 hours long.
What you don't see is the fighting afterwards.
Yeah.
When these are turned off.
It's
This
like
is a-
massive arguments.
Massive
Like
argument.
an hour of us getting along, and then 2 hours of us arguing about what we should have.
That's
probably
right.
been
I
I
talking
feel like
about
I'm
the
like
entire time.
hosting cats here or something like that.
Aw.
I'm like, oh, come on, get in here. Let's get back together. All right. So anyway, yes, when we realized that I would be a guest on the season opener for fan fiction, I realized, well, wait a second, I'm going to have them on AZP. Let's do kind of a season 1 kickoff collab.
Bagow.
So
Love
we've
it.
decided to have this be the first episode for AZP. And kind of in the vein of fan fiction, I'm pivoting the format of AZP today. And we're going to be, so a lot of things that you guys like to do on fan fiction is you talk about a franchise or whatever that you enjoy, and then you spend some time doing like what ifs and what could be's and,
Yeah.
and things like that.
We call it the good old celebrate and elevate.
There it is. Yep,
Oh,
exactly.
Wow. Good.
Yep.
Coin that one.
So
We've called it that numerous times, Matt.
Have we?
You've said that phrase yourself numerous times.
Man, yeah. Everything's a blur
Okay.
now.
I've actually heard you use that plenty of times when you pitch the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe-
that's
yeah.
The first half we just celebrate everything we love about it. Second half, let's kick it up a notch. Let's see what we can do to make it a little bit better.
Yeah, there's been some
Okay,
great
that does
episodes.
sound familiar,
Your
yeah.
first episode ever in season 1 was a Zelda episode.
It was,
Correct.
yep.
Which was a lot of fun to get going. And then you've also had some standouts, in my opinion. The Star Wars episode was a ton of fun.
I liked that.
Oh,
one.
that was a fun one,
fun
yeah.
one to listen to.
Yeah, that was good. The Pokemon one got a little crazy.
The Pokemon, I love the intro for that one. That
Look,
still makes me laugh every time I listen.
Yeah, that was a good one.
The
God, I
second
love it.
Matt started talking about eating the Pokemon,
I'm
which one would
sorry.
taste better, I was like,
I got a lot of hate from that
I
one.
was-
Yeah.
yeah, you did.
Well, that's an extreme position to
Yeah.
have. But anyway, I digress. Also, I think the movie one was a ton of fun too. But anyway,
Yeah.
So in the spirit of needing to pitch ideas right off the bat here,
Okay.
what we've decided to do is I have collected 12 typical game genres.
Oh.
All right. Then I went to our Discord a few days ago and I put a poll up in our Discord, our EZP Discord, and just kind of vaguely I said, hey, for a friend, I'm asking which genres would you most like to see as a Zelda spin-off game?
Oh.
Not a new way to take Zelda, but there are some Zelda spin-off games already, of course. Crossbow Training, even Cadence of Hyrule and
Hyrule
Age
Warriors,
of Calamity.
yeah.
Hyrule Warriors fits into that
Yep.
category. Absolutely. And so what we're going to try to do today, I have this list of 12. I then I have 2 six-sided dice. So we have a bell curve of how you might roll.
Okay.
And I took the most requested genres, and I've put them in the middle of my list. So like the most requested one here is literally number 6 on my list.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the ones that requested least are 1 and 12. I think we'll still probably try to get to all 12, but I wanted to make sure that we certainly covered the ones that were most requested by the Zelda, the AZP
this'll be
community.
fun.
I'm kind of excited. Feels like playing Catan all over. Again.
Yeah.
Let's
A
do
little
it.
bit. So I'm going to hand you the dice here, Dan.
Oh, God.
We're
So-
not doing listener feedback this episode because I think this is actually going to take long enough to get through all of this. So I
Touche.
apologize. We
So-
love doing listener feedback. We love talking to our listeners, but we're just going to get into it.
Just to reiterate, we're going to roll the dice.
Roll the dice.
And then depending on the number,
Mhm.
you're going to give us a game.
Mhm.
And then
A
it's
genre.
up the genre. Then it's up to the three of us to pitch.
Ooh.
To come up with.
Come up with a game that fits. Like
Yep.
just so we like we need plots, we need mechanics. Like I just want to know
think-
how in
okay,
depth
yeah,
we're going to go.
I
with
appreciate you
this.
saying that. Let me actually, I did make a couple notes here that I skipped over about like what is a quote unquote, what makes a Zelda spin-off game?
Got it.
In my eyes, I guess perhaps. The rules of Zelda spin-offs.
Here we go.
Okay.
They often
Take
exist.
notes, Matt. You need to
They
take
often
notes.
Taking
exist
notes.
in the universe of one of the mainline Zelda games.
Define
Fair
mainline,
enough.
Often. Mainline, like
Termina.
yeah, Hyrule.
Hyrule.
not Minish Cap. Do we consider that a mainline?
I mean,
Kinda,
yeah, I think so. I think
Okay,
like the
yeah.
stuff that's not mainline is like Four Swords Adventures and
Yeah.
Triforce Heroes, that kind of stuff, which are almost feel like spin-offs on their own. You know what I
Kinda
mean?
do, yeah.
But they're technically in the timeline.
I understand
know
this.
now.
I understand all of this.
He's the expert.
There was a version where I was going to try to bring Triforce Heroes and have the three of us play that,
Oh, that'd be
and then do
great.
that as a review episode. Now, maybe sometime in the future we could do that. But I was
Absolutely.
researching it, and I realized that the amount of time we'd be together, we'd only really apparently it's like a 40-hour experience or 30-hour experience. And we obviously were not going to achieve that all together here this weekend.
Not with that
Also, I
attitude.
forgot-
Let's do it.
I also forgot to tell you that Matt has basically refused to play video games with me cooperatively after
no,
the
that's
Super
true, yeah.
after the Super Mario event debacle of like
Yeah.
2015.
Yeah,
Uh,
that sounds about right.
Yeah, the one game where you got to play like as Mario and Luigi at the same time. It was like for
Oh,
Wii.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do now.
And it was basically Matt doing everything by himself while I was just terrible.
Powering
enough.
through the levels, and Dan's just
Like, trying to
"What if I
keep
run
up."
backwards.
It's the one where
Oh
then
my
you
gosh.
get, they did the Yoshi's Island thing where if you die you had to be you're in a bubble
In the bubble, sure, yeah.
floating around.
New Super Mario Brothers, or one of them.
Yeah, and so like we got all the way to the end, and Matt's trying to beat Bowser, and I'm just floating around in a bubble, going like Mario.
Matt's staring at Dan right now.
Oh,
So oftentimes
good times.
Oftentimes,
Yeah.
a Zelda spin-off exists in a mainline Zelda universe. It could be so. As we hear these genres, we could be like, "Oh, Twilight Princess might be good for that," or actually, Breath of the Wild might be good for that. And it's okay if it doesn't exactly exist. There are some interpretations of spin-offs, for example, like. I'm thinking of Cadence of Hyrule right now, which is in its own kind of weird interpretation of what
Right.
a Hyrule is. And so, in my opinion, that's also okay if we go in that
Okay.
direction.
Fair
So, to
enough.
answer your question, Dan, I don't think we need to. I think because also I'm not going to set a timer, but to keep us on pace today, I'm loosely going to keep track of about 5 minutes, and we're going to try to roll a
5
new
minutes?
one. Yeah,
Dude.
not a lot of time because 12 things for 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Good
thing
we
And
have
we
that
might
coffee.
take a little bit longer on the big ones, and then we might speed round the ones at the end.
Okay.
Otherwise, we will literally be talking for 5 hours, which
Let's
is also
do
a
it.
ton of fun. We just don't have that production time today because I definitely want to record fan fiction as well.
Cool.
So I think if there is a opportunity to express a little bit of story, that's okay. But I think it's really mechanics.
Got it.
I think it's like, oh, what could work where
Gotcha.
and how? Because almost every style of game genre is in here. So some of these are going to be a little challenging.
All
And
right.
some of them, are, in my opinion, are challenging because they're almost a little too close to the action adventure that Zelda is anyway.
Okay.
Oh,
Ooh.
should we do this?
Do it. Roll it.
Don't touch me.
Dan, I'm ready to get going. Let's see if let's see
Here,
what happens.
Matt, so I want Matt.
Oh wait,
to,
no! Oh, before we get started, I did want to do one other thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Thank you. There's a lot of things going on in my brain right now. Matt, our listeners have known Dan for about 3 seasons now,
Oh,
but they
that's
don't
right,
really
yeah.
know you, and you do have a lot of Zelda fandom in you.
Oh, absolutely.
Could you introduce yourself to our listeners a little bit and like what was your kind of Zelda experience?
Oh, yeah. So I kind of briefly touched upon it in our podcast about my experience, but I grew up, first game I ever touched of Zelda was, of course, the first one for NES. I had one at my grandparents' house growing up. That's where I also got to play a lot of Adventures of Link, the sequel. I went from there straight to the SNES with Link to the Past. I've pretty much touched just about all of them.
So you and I have had a very similar experience where we've basically grown up with the series. Like as
Correct,
they come out,
yeah.
we play them.
Yep.
All right, cool.
I've pretty much touched all of them except a lot of the handheld ones I've kind of...
Yeah, they go in and out a bit.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's about it,
I
though.
still haven't completed Oracle of Seasons, and I
Neither
still
have
haven't
I,
played
yeah.
Spirit Tracks, and
Spirit Tracks is the only one that I'm not interested in.
I have to confess it doesn't pull me either.
Yeah.
One
I
of
don't know what
our
about
blog writers, Andy, who actually does the Zeldom YouTube channel.
Yeah.
it was his first Zelda game, and he
Oh.
loves it. So he's a champion of it, and there will be a
Okay.
day I get to it. But there's nothing about it that really fully
Yeah,
pulls
and
me.
that's weird for me because I love trains and I love the idea of a ghost Zelda.
Oh,
You do love trains.
I do love trains,
He
but
does.
like, I don't know. Well, my love for trains came from Final Fantasy VI, where Sabin suplexes a train in the game. But
that was the trigger moment.
that
for
was the
loving
trigger moment for me.
trains.
I'm like, oh, this train, I'm fighting a train.
Trains are the best.
It wasn't
They're the
until I
best.
saw a train suplex that I really
Yeah,
understood.
there was
I
the
get these
Phantom
trains.
train. Yeah. There was
was
a
the
ghost
moment.
train attacking me, and I'm like,
I saw
what
a
is
train
this thing?
go vertical, and I said,
I was
"Hold
like,
the phone."
Yeah, I was like 10 years old.
This is awakening
Yeah, it is
something
pretty
in
cool
me.
for a
Yeah, I was like,
10-year-old.
what is this?
Oh my god!
Trains
All right,
belong
I
on
want
the
to check our timer.
tracks.
Oh, we're in a good spot. We're 10 minutes into the episode,
All right,
so there's a good
roll
spot
them.
to calculate 5.
I want you
Dan,
to roll.
You want me to roll?
Yeah, no, Matt, you roll first,
All
and
right.
let's see what we get. And if we get
Can you
doubles,
hear
we'll
that?
just keep going, I guess. What do we got?
I can't see.
I think it's a 12. I think you
12?
just did
No.
Nope, 11.
Oh, well, still
Close.
not bad.
All right. Well, okay. Let's do this. This one is.
All right.
This one was, based on the fans of our Discord. Basically, this one was requested a little less, obviously. However, we've got about 5 minutes, and this one's not too insane.
Let's do it.
How do we imagine a Zelda spin-off, not the
Okay.
next Zelda game, a Zelda spin-off as a platformer?
Oh,
Oh,
as
okay.
a platformer? Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Wow, yeah, you could really pick any of them.
So I'm gonna go on a limb here.
Yeah.
I think we should play as Link.
Is
Okay.
it?
Whoa, calm
I know,
down.
Is it a Mario New Super Mario Brothers 4 people jumping around on the screen thing?
You know what? Here's what I think. I think it's a platformer, which means we don't need to go crazy. We don't have to worry about the open world. So
Right.
I think we make the first Zelda mobile game.
Oh,
It's an interesting pivot.
Ma-
be a
Mario-
bad idea.
Let's do this.
Mario made the jump with the Mario Run thing.
Okay.
you're right.
I think we don't have that yet. That's
Yeah.
the one world we haven't really jumped into. Even Final Fantasy, I think, jumped into.
They did it kind of weird, though.
Yeah, but still, like you see a lot of these games jumping into the mobile world.
But they do, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think we make the first game for our iPhones and Androids.
If you're going to make it simple, make it simple kind
Make
of
it
thing,
simple,
right?
yeah.
Make
I
it platformer. There are 2 games. There's two of the old CDI games are the closest thing to an
Yeah.
actual Zelda platformer that exist.
Yeah.
They're not good games. Everybody, they're
What? Those are the best.
so some might argue like, well, wait a second, there already were Zelda platformers, but they're not mainline. They're not canon.
Yeah, those are rough.
They,
Those are
they,
rough
I've personally
games.
played a few of them now. I had the opportunity to play a few at
Oh,
the Zelda
nice.
Dungeon charity marathon that they did last year,
Oh, that's
and it
cool.
was very difficult to play those games. But
Okay,
the mistake
moving
they
on.
made. The mistake they made was they still tried to make it Zelda-y, where it was like you still kind of were going into dungeons and kind of collecting things. It
Yeah.
almost played like a Metroid game in
Yeah,
a weird
sure,
way.
I agree.
Do we want to make it like a Metroid? Because I was thinking
Well, that's the other pivot.
it could
I guess.
be a lot
Oh,
like
yeah.
I think it's based in the Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword
Sure.
realm. Because I mean, if we're gonna do platform, we could remove the ground altogether. So
Oh,
that
hey,
way,
there you go,
know,
yeah.
so that way we have to jump from plane to plane, and then you could bring
You
in
could
the
jump
loft.
on that loft wing.
The loft wings can come in. That can be an element.
Sideways.
You could even make like a free fall game where you just have to collect things and like
That's
you know,
true.
parachute
I mean, but I
down.
think-
Okay, wait, you're right.
But I think we
That'd
can
be kinda
add all
fun.
of this.
Yeah, that'd be
I
cool.
think that could easily be brought in.
I would totally play
For
that.
like those super fall moments. But you can
Yeah.
even to pull from all the platformers that I know. I think we steal a little bit from Mega Man, and you can
How
you can
dare
summon
you.
the dog, summon the woof woof robot dog.
Rush, yeah.
Yeah, sure. And he can be the loft wing. The Rush can be the loft wing of this game.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
you can summon
give you a little
um,
boost, get you back up
I'm-
to height. And,
I'm not saying no to this. I like where this is going.
Yeah,
So I think
I think you picked a good one with the Skyloft thing and the Skyward Sword because you have all that floating stuff.
Okay.
you know?
We have about 2 minutes left. How do we now make this not just be a side-scrolling game skinned as Zelda? What are some Zelda-isms we can bring in to make it really speak to the franchise? And also, by the way, I keep forgetting the name, but the Cadence of Hyrule game, it is very much its own little rhythm game. But they're like, you're still finding chests and you're still kind of, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
There's
Well,
references.
first and foremost, you have to have Tingle show up on balloons somewhere just to give you items, and you got to catch him. That'll be your little
yeah,
thing.
that's
gotta
I
catch-
like that. But he'd be a little bit. I don't think he canonically exists in Skyward Sword yet.
Oh
but
yeah, no, you're right.
He comes in a little
get
later.
it together,
I'm
Matt.
sorry, I
God.
forgot. I just assumed
We
he's in
only
all
have
of
2 minutes,
Fine.
and you bring that
Fine.
in.
Then it's not Skyward
God.
Sword. It's a Tears of the Kingdom. Side
Oh,
scroll.
Yeah,
okay.
there we
okay,
go.
You know what I
There it is.
mean?
That's
Look,
good
mobile
too.
games pull everything. They don't care. They have no shame.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
that's
a bit of
true.
that. That's
And,
we could also do the Hyrule Wars thing where we do just kind of
Right,
Mario
yeah,
Kart
just
it.
bring
And-
everybody in.
And honestly, if we're going to be a mobile game, how do we charge per transaction?
That's right.
How do we
That's-
bring in microtransactions? Because you got to charge if you're going to be on there. How do we
Mhm.
get mom's credit card to a certain degree?
Oh, I just realized another thing. The closest we ever did get to, and it was satisfying for me. The closest we got to a Zelda side scroller was all of the Zelda theming in that second DLC pack in Mario Maker 2,
Mhm.
which was a lot of fun. They actually did do a thing where You could play as Link. Your sprite is the original Link from the original Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
He proper has a sword which breaks the Mario blocks. Down B throws a bomb. He's got the little sword that he has like his moves.
Yeah.
But in side-scrolling style, technically in a Mario engine. And I thought it was really, you can do arrows and everything and shoot them with arcs. And it's very cool.
I think there has to be arrows in there.
Okay.
Well, you got to hit all the key ones.
Well, if it's mobile, is it a runner? Is it one of these like runners, or is it?
I'm not a big fan of the runners.
I'm not either, but
it would work as a runner.
It could, but I also think I want to be able to take your time, because if we're going to bring in a bow and arrow, because I think if we're going to keep it in as much of a vein of Zelda as possible, you need to have your arsenal. Like, it needs to be collect this, move on, collect
get the
this,
step
move
ladder,
on.
keep
You
going.
know, and like of course there's going to be using your shield as a hover thing. Like for
using the handy
drafts.
glove to move rocks.
Yeah, you've got it. We're about at our 5 minutes, but you've got it. Let's say it is a runner or not, but it's a mobile game. As you finish these levels, maybe each level is a metaphor for one of the dungeons. You collect your essential item or your unique item, and it recontextualizes the next time you go through.
Ooh, I like that.
So you can move through the platforms different ways.
What if we pull like a Super Mario 3, where it's like the entire no, 2. No, 3.
No, 3's the one with
Three's
the
the stage play.
No, which one with the flying boat?
That's 3.
Okay, that was right. So
Yeah,
let's have it like
Don't doubt yourself.
all on one giant. So we get there, Loftwing takes us up, and then it's 3 different dungeons, because it doesn't have to be that big of a game, right? It's a mobile. It's meant to be played.
And there's really only 3 areas in Skyward Sword anyway.
There you go.
And so then but it's all taking place in the boat. Platformers, and at times you have to like go outside the boat and fly up to this area. I think it'd be cool to keep it as one big map.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
And then
maybe it's additional floating islands or something.
Yeah, and like you can jump to here and there.
I love it. We're at time. Let's do the next one.
All right, Dan, roll.
Let's see what we get.
That was the platformer.
You writing it down, taking notes?
I would have also accepted any corner.
Thank you. You're doing this so that we can re-roll.
Yeah, so that way.
Love it.
Oh,
because we're going to get duplicates here. Let's keep moving.
Okay, here we go. We played a board game last night, and I rolled more zeros than any person has ever rolled.
But then he ended up winning.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he was not doing well in the beginning.
1 and 6. We're looking at a 7.
Okay. Oh, this is gonna be a fun one.
Okay.
I think this is gonna be a fun one. This was the second most requested genre.
Well, look at you. Good job.
And it is a simulation game, a la like a Sims or a life sim game, or even like a restaurant management sim game. So not sim, not Sim City,
this
but
is
a
your
sim
forte,
game.
Matt.
Oh, I would love that.
How do we do a Zelda sim game?
If you watch fan fiction, Matt wants everything to be a simulation game.
All right.
To a degree.
Every game.
I'm just saying, this is where you get all the fun stuff. Like,
You've got fire in your eyes right now. Tell us all about it.
I would love to be part of like Kokiri Village. You got to play as a villager, build up your town, build up a shop maybe,
Love that.
or flip the coin.
Was
You
it
could
shop
also
management?
Yeah, shop management. Maybe you're training the new elf kids, whatever. But like the other way too.
And what if Link comes in and he's like, and then at any time Link can come in and like break all of your stuff.
Oh, there we go.
And
Yeah.
steal your pots. Like
perfect.
it's like Link's here.
No!
Link just
They
comes
ring
in.
the bell. There's an alarm.
He's like,
Hurry!
Link's here. Oh my
coming.
god! Put all the valuables out of the pots. Out of the pots.
And then the other thing I would
my
love
goodness.
to see is Ganon's minion. You just get tasks from him and his mini bosses, and you have to like go do things like a Stalfos or a Gibdos.
Oh,
or
that's
whatever.
interesting.
That'd be fun.
There could be. I don't like this idea, but there could be like a simulation baking game or something like that. But
Oh,
I
absolutely.
don't think that's like
With the
super
cook-
Zelda-y.
Yeah, with the cooking that's in Breath of the Wild, I mean, there's something there.
Mhm.
Like, but it would have to be like
Yeah.
a side, like, hey, what you could do is after Breath of the Wild, before the new one, like when there's peace, it's like Link was like, hey, I really enjoyed cooking, and so it's all the recipes from Breath of the Wild
There you
that
go.
you open your own little shop, and
Yeah.
like so Link's in the
Being
back,
a
like-
ranch hand at Lon Lon Ranch.
Yeah,
I mean,
Well,
that's
the
kind of
war's
cool.
over.
Yeah, you know what? There is an opportunity there for maybe you don't necessarily have to play as Link.
Oh, I don't
because
think
it
you
is a
should
side.
at all. I don't think you should at all.
No.
And I'm also thinking of I'm queuing off of Crossbow Training, where it's in the Twilight Princess universe, but it is just a shooting game.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So maybe this is just a sim game, and it's store management or something like
Yeah,
that.
you create your own Hyrulean, and you
Mhm.
go from there.
I
And
mean,
you
it
just
could be
get to-
very much in line of Animal Crossing,
Yeah,
or
maybe.
Stardew Valley, because remember we have
Yeah.
all of these different ecosystems. Like you could farm in Kikoriko Village, but then how do you make money and how do you grow on Mount Doom or Mount Doom?
Yeah.
Like
Or
so, like
Death Mountain.
Death Mountain. Thank you.
Close
Mount
enough.
Doom. Yeah,
Mount
right, sure.
Doom.
Fair enough.
It's nerdy enough that I'm going to get credit for.
No,
it,
I mean
okay?
it's a pretty.
But like,
similar,
and
yeah.
so you like, and then there's also the frozen tundra area. Like, how do you grow things? How do you survive? How do you like use the land
I like this.
to start building your own towns?
Okay, there we go.
Remember, we talked
There we
about
go.
Terry
your
Town.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I love it.
and you can the metaphor for the different islands. Not that we're trying to make an Animal Crossing clone, but it is like the different regions or something. So there's slightly different rules for different
Goron's
places.
got to open a gym.
So-
Yeah. However, we do need to be very careful because this is another category,
Uh-oh.
not a city builder game or
Oh,
not
yeah,
a sandbox
Okay,
no,
game.
you're
then that
This
takes
is
it back.
sim. This is sim only.
Sing-
This is
single
resource
job, yeah.
management and
Got it. Okay.
Resource management. Maybe you're just going out and camping all the time. That's it.
yeah.
Just
Okay.
a nice little camping simulator.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I think
Hit the different
Breath.
regions.
I think we agree. Breath of the Wild is the world we want to live in
Okay, yeah, I'm cool.
because
with
it's the most experienced kind of
it's the most mechanics. Of
most
that
Oh,
stuff.
that
mechanics
would- yeah, that
and
would probably-
ecosystems.
It's the only
and
one that has an
environments.
actual economy where you actually
Yeah.
can sell things.
I was going to say. However, Legend of Zelda 2 does have actual towns with people in them.
It's true.
Yep.
It's true.
Oh, okay. Okay, Matt. Okay, Matt.
You don't want to go to
Well,
Raru Village?
Yep, I've never
right.
been. All right, so how we do? We
Yep,
still more
that's-
time.
We're just it's just right. Let's do another roll.
I've never
Okay.
been.
So what did we decide for
I
this?
guess I'll roll
This
this
was
one.
Sim,
Yep, that was simulation.
and we said Breath of the
Here
Wild.
we go. What do we got?
1 and
A 5. Oh, okay. Well, we're not too far off. 5 here was also up there as the third most requested. A strategy game, a la a real-time strategy or turn-based strategy game. So, I mean, obviously,
So,
we immediately start thinking
Sid
like
Meier's.
advanced.
Like
Well,
Civ?
yeah, Sid Meier's. Maybe any of these Advanced Wars games. The Fire
yeah,
Emblems
yeah.
are strategy.
Age of Empires.
strategy
stuff like
games.
that, Yeah.
Real-time strategy or turn-based strategy was in
Oh,
here. You
that-
could go
yeah.
either way.
All
Any
right, Matt.
thoughts?
We'll
I
get-
mean, Hyrule Warriors kind of set that up pretty well. I mean, you could just have massive armies of like Gorons or Poes
I
or
think so.
something. Yeah, you just build your own little things. Do it like StarCraft style where you can just build your own little bases and just
Mhm.
have different strategies for each unit. Or with the what was it, turn-based, you just do it like Final Fantasy does and just have different characters you go on
yeah.
your little adventure.
I mean, I just don't want to have like do it like Star Wars did with Battlegrounds, where it was just basically StarCraft that they slapped a skin
Oh, yeah,
on.
just
You know,
reskin
like.
it.
But
I know.
how do we make it seem specifically?
How do we Zeldify it?
Yeah, Zelda. it,
Because
you
I
know,
think
like-
I think that's the base, Matt. I think you've brought the base.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it
Yeah.
works. The Zoras have a certain kind of specialty. The
Yeah.
Gorons, the
I
whatever.
think to make the Zelda spice, you could have your armies go into dungeons and collect items.
There
What
you
if,
go.
those items
what
would
if
help
we
you
do
on
like
the battlefield
what if
as
we do
well.
like the Dungeon Keeper, where you actually have to make the dungeons?
Yes, that would also be
Do you know what I
awesome.
mean? Because we never really get to do a lot of like.
Or like Overlord. You guys remember that game where you had to make your own dungeons and minions and stuff?
Yeah.
Very similar to that too.
Wasn't that the one where you could also then become a minion and then run around and like explore
Yes.
your dungeon firsthand? Or is that
So
Dungeon
are we
No, that's
pivoting-
Dungeon Keeper.
Are we
That's a-
pivoting to playing as the bad guys in this game? Is that what's
More
happening?
or less. I
if
mean,
you're making your own dungeons?
I would think so. Yeah, if you're making your own
Strategy?
dungeon. Well, if in the very
who-
first Zelda game, Zelda put the Triforce pieces in the dungeon, so
That's
I guess
true.
she was kind of the.
Oh.
I don't know.
No, I love that. You're absolutely right.
You could technically do
So
it with Hyrule too.
it's a
Wait.
dungeon maker for the Triforce pieces.
No, you're right.
No,
I was
or that,
misinterpreting.
yeah.
You're right. Many times the dungeons, it's not like the dungeons are made by the bad
Right,
guys.
yeah.
The dungeons oftentimes just exist. And
Or like
plenty
in
of
the,
times
the
they're like,
second game, back to that one again.
Yeah.
The palaces were made by Hyrule.
yes.
they weren't made.
Actually,
by
I think most
Yeah.
of the time these dungeons are the Temple of Time, the Light, and the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
They're not necessarily
yeah.
like the Ganon Cave.
No,
You know
the
what I
bad
mean?
guys just come in and just take it over. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Yeah.
Okay, so we want to do a dungeon maker.
I think that'd
Is
be
that
the
what we're
best.
I
doing
mean,
to
I
this
love
one?
that. I don't know if that's really much of a strategy game anymore because you have to
Oh.
still do the
Well,
real-time strategy.
Not
or
to
the,
borrow from StarCraft again, but there
Yeah.
were levels where you got to go into like caves and stuff and fight different enemies. Like I said, just put that with items and all that, and you got that on the RTS side.
I mean, because you're really just talking about like property management too, to a certain degree. Like you want
Oh,
to
sure.
get the castles, so like it's exploring them and putting enough of a claim in there that
Yeah.
if somebody else tries to come in,
Okay.
you could
like
then
that.
like fight them. So
Okay.
it's maybe it's collecting the dungeons. It's building to get to these dungeons, to get to these castles
Yeah.
that have their own lore and history. And you know, it's always like once we have so much a percentage ownership of this, we get the buff of that castle.
Do a little
you know?
King of the Hill type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And then what you could do is you can even gray the space a little bit where it's Zoras, Gorons, Rito, and like Deku, and maybe even Bokoblins.
Oh,
like,
sure,
you know,
yeah.
they're doing their own economy.
I would
Maybe
love
they
that,
agree
yeah.
or disagree. Maybe this is in a time where the Bokoblins aren't pledging allegiance to Ganon
Yeah,
or
just-
whatever.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You could kind of go that route. And I guess you'd have the Hylians too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no one's gonna play as them.
I would.
You would.
I love this. And then so the way to get new items or to change, because I think the biggest thing that I enjoy about Zelda games is that are large puzzles,
Yeah.
you know, large macro puzzles, which are essentially the dungeons,
Mhm.
and then items that recontextualize the experience after you get them, the unique items. To
Oh,
me,
yeah,
those are
yeah,
like
yeah.
key features of a
And
Zelda game.
but once you own the dungeon, then you would get whatever that item is.
Mhm.
And then you can open up more territory.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. And I think
love
it still stays really in the realm of Zelda because
Sure.
as much as we have the skins and the characters, but it's the collection and the kind of like, you know, letting the dungeon shine.
Sure.
You know,
Or you could do it like Suikoden. I don't know if you guys have played that
No.
franchise, but they kind of did the overworld battle maps where you had units and did battles and stuff. And they had like a rock, paper, scissors system with archers, fighters, mages.
Yeah, that's cool.
But then they also went back to the RPG elements when you were in towns and everywhere else.
I think
that's
I love that. I think
You
that's
could
how
do
this
both,
works.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's
easily do
how it
both.
works. We have 30 seconds left. Do we have a name for this game?
Ooh, oh geez.
Hyrule. Oh, by the way, all Zelda spin-offs can never have the word Zelda in them.
Oh, okay.
It's like a
Oh,
it's a
geez.
marketing
they
thing.
can't, or they have to.
Nintendo has chosen that it's never The Legend of
Oh, I
Zelda,
didn't
blah
know
blah
that.
blah.
Okay.
Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. It's not Legend of
Scream
Zelda.
Oh,
Insanity.
you're right.
Mhm. If it says Zelda, it's going to be a mainline Nintendo
Oh
game.
man.
Okay, so this is just called hey, do you want to play around in the dungeons with
Hyrule,
Zelda? No, dang, I
What?
already ruined it with the last word. Crud.
Hyrule Heroes. No, that would be more of a.
No. Oh man, I was not ready for naming these.
Yeah,
games.
well, I wasn't either. We had a little spare time.
Oh
I
no,
thought I'd
that's
throw
fine.
it out there. We can keep moving too, but
I mean, I
Honestly,
don't want to
because
say
it's-
generic like world builder or
Armies
something.
of Hyrule. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah,
it could be something
something
like that.
something
I think it would
similar,
Hyrule
yeah.
would be in there because the scope
Because
is the whole
you're
thing.
doing everything.
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
not like the Hylian
No.
whatever. All right, cool. Let's roll, Matt. Let's roll for the next
All
one.
right. You wanna
And
blow
11,
on
7, or 5, and we re-roll 11, 7, or 5.
it?
7.
7.
Think we already did
All right,
that.
roll
That
it,
was our
re-roll it.
Aha.
5. We already did that one.
Re-roll
Nice
it.
blow,
It's
Dan.
gonna get worse and worse.
6.
Okay, here we
6.
go. 6.
Number
the
1.
most
Yeah.
requested game genre, and this one's gonna be difficult because it's almost too close.
Challenge.
So we're gonna have to think
Challenge.
about it. Maybe we'll spend a little bit more than 5 minutes on this.
Okay.
It is, guys. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be underwhelming because it seems almost obvious, but I think it could be
You're
awesome.
really selling it, David. I just
Well,
want you to know,
I'm
really
almost
excited about
underselling
it
it
right
because it is
Huh.
role-playing game,
Oh.
RPG,
now.
RPG or ARPG was the option. So,
well, you know what?
so is this like the Mario role-playing game model? Is it you just take your characters and you just make a mega story?
I the one thing I want to say is I think like Link has always been fine. Like you get to slap the skins on different outfits, that's fine, and you give him the weapons. But we've never really gotten to the you haven't really given him dexterity, strength.
I was actually going to go
speed.
into that. Yeah.
We've never really gotten to
The closest is Adventure Link.
That's
yeah,
right.
But
It's the
I
first
think
time you actually got to do
we
that.
take a step back and we look at these other games that really level up the character.
Yeah.
And of course you get gear. Gear's great, and like maybe even we add more of an upgradable gear. That kind of aspect. But I think if we focus on the RPG element of making Link more customizable to how we want to play, like I like stealth games. I love it when I get to be a sneak and I can go and backstab or something like
sneak
that.
thief, yeah.
I love those. That's like my favorite.
Yeah, that
But-
does it. That is kind of you. No, I'm just joking.
I was going to say,
Aw.
well, your build is perfect. for
Yeah,
it.
well, tall and lanky. That's
Tall
how I
and
like
lanky.
them. But no, I would love to see a game where if I want to be more Ninja Link, it's easy because I can do speed and I can do
Oh,
stealth.
sure.
Yeah.
Because to a certain degree, Link is a run in the room and start swinging the sword.
Well, if you play
much.
that way, but yeah. I would like to say that the thing that made the original Legend of Zelda so successful, and it was a conscious choice by the designers, was that they honestly said let's take a D&D game and reduce it down to almost nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only way you upgrade is you don't upgrade your sword, you just find the next sword that's stronger.
Yeah.
And so there's really Duplo block levels of
Right.
Yeah.
of increase, but that was on purpose.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes you'll hear in some retrospective it'll be like The Legend of Zelda, the game that took all the numbers out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh,
But they're
yeah.
still kind of there. And we were talking earlier off camera about how even Breath of the Wild technically has a secret XP system
Oh, yeah.
to scale the things.
Oh, I'm sure they all, yeah.
But
all
they take
got
the
some
numbers
sort of
out.
secret.
So
then-
how do we put the numbers back in and make it still feel like Zelda? I also want to throw on the table, I think we don't make it be third person. I think we change the perspective to make it feel very different. Maybe it's top down or something like that.
Oh yeah, you could do
Okay.
that. Yeah, what I was going to say is obviously you just go the Skyrim, World of Warcraft, Fallout route. You get all the customization you want. You can pick certain attributes, traits. You don't play as any of the main guys because let's move on to you make your own character, your own race.
Oh,
And I want a
Matt.
party. I'm throwing this
I'm
down.
there.
I want there to be a party.
Yeah.
It needs to be a party of 2,
No.
3,
Sure,
4,
yeah.
5.
You know what?
Yep.
I always really get excited
Make
when
it so
somebody
your
says
friends
you
can
don't
join.
play as Link.
Yeah.
You don't play
Mhm.
as Zelda. You don't
You choose
create
your race, you
your
choose your-
own
yeah.
character. Especially for a franchise that you're so locked in. Like
Yeah.
my brain didn't even think that I got to be somebody else. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
how do I customize Link? How do
No.
I do this to Link? But
Well, I'll vanilla that and find the middle. What if Link is still playable, but he's just part of the party? So you're still playing
okay.
also as a Goron or another Hylian.
Or
Maybe-
every once in a while he
but-
jumps in and just helps you on
Could be
stuff.
that.
Or we
That'd be
talked
great,
about like,
yeah.
what if the point is to save Link?
Oh.
Well, okay, so that's
What-
actually
what
really
if it-
wait.
what-
Okay,
what if
okay,
we- what
guys.
if we call this the
guys,
Legend of
guys,
Link
guys,
because it's
a
like, that's who
role-playing
we're
game.
saving.
Wait, I'm gonna slap it down right
Hold on,
now.
I gotta get a
It is a
drink.
role-playing game where you play as Sheik during the 7 years between.
Oh, I love it.
And it's Sheik trying to quote unquote save Link to wake him up to get him to come
Yo,
up and be the
wake
hero.
up.
So that's the end. So Link is out, but
Love
it's
it.
all the adventures that happen, and that's why you can still build a party. Zelda as Sheik can be getting other party members, and it's the story that happens there.
And back to your saying of over the top view, we could make it like Marvel Alliance. Is that the
Ultimate
one where
Alliance.
Ultimate
Bit of that.
Alliance, where
Yeah.
it's over the top? And
Mhm.
you always have Sheik, but then you can build the rest of them
I agree,
around her.
and I think
Well,
the reason.
Sheik, what if we make Sheik like the Nick Fury?
Oh, sure.
Where that's
yeah.
who
Well,
you,
that's what-
that's who
that's
you
what Sheik
report
would
to,
be.
and she'd be
Yeah.
or they'd be the one that
Absolutely.
like kind of tells you here, there, this, that.
Completely. And the reason I want it to be a different perspective is because I feel that Nintendo, from marketing, if you were just looking at a screen grab, they don't want you to accidentally think you're looking at like a Zelda game. They
Yeah.
want every time you see a screenshot of any of the spin-offs, it clearly like feels like a different game.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
No, I think this is
Or
great.
even Diablo style. You can just over the head, you know.
Oh
Great.
yeah. Oh, and it would lean so
You
heavily
just
into
tag people out and
the
you always have Sheik,
dungeons.
yeah.
Like I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
We have a
if you
couple
wanna
more
have
minutes.
dungeons,
Let's dig
like,
in on this one. I think
if
we're
you-
onto
if-
something
I think
here.
that's
If you
great.
want a dungeon crawler
Yeah.
like RPG,
Maybe.
I mean, like Link's and Zelda's world is ripe for it.
Oh, absolutely.
Ripe for it.
I
Make
think
those
we-
dungeons feel like dungeons, and then puzzles. You know, depending on how many people you have in your party,
And I
the
would-
game can
yeah.
kind of spec to like, okay, you have 3 people playing. Have it where you need 3 people in order to,
Okay, yeah.
like complete this puzzle. Someone's
Like
got to stand over
Oracle
here.
and all that.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I realized the top-down is almost just like all the other 2D games. Maybe it is that kind of like 30-degree
You know what?
look.
You can go to both. Hit a button, you flip between the two.
Back and forth. That's
There we
cool.
go.
Nowadays, it's yeah.
I think it's Sheik. I think the dungeons. I think there has to be dungeons, but they maybe don't need to be called that. But like, there's
Oh,
still
yeah.
like you're still going into these things.
There's the forest. There's the desert.
Yeah, and maybe that's how Sheik is recruiting either characters or there's the 6 spiritual stones, right? That actually finally that Link goes and finds again. I wonder if there's a
But
way to.
are you leveling each person up because are we still going to
Oh,
the
yeah.
realm of like each person has their own individual
Yes.
stats?
I think so. I think there needs to be a pause menu with a character
Yep.
sheet, and you're doing
So
item
we're
management.
D&D in this hard then.
Tell you
I
what,
like,
for me, a
you
role-playing
wanted to
game,
put,
I
you
want
wanted to put the
role-playing game.
numbers back
Yeah.
in, like
Yeah.
so every single
All the
person.
numbers, hard numbers.
We all level
Yep.
up together then. So
Yep.
because the one thing I hate is like this
Shared
person's leveled up,
experience.
pause, then we got to do their numbers, and then 2 seconds later this person's level up.
Yeah, a little bit of
pause.
that.
So if it's group, I'm down for it. That's
you
always
could,
been a
you could
pet
really
peeve
do
of
either.
mine.
You could do group or
Sure.
single.
You could write that off by having some magical character that's like, oh, I can help all of you at the same
Oh,
time
yep,
in the
there we
story.
go.
And then
Or-
that's a way to do the options.
Or
Navi
you-
shows up. Hey, here's fairy dust.
I mean,
Boom.
Or
Yeah.
you only get the experience at the end. It's not like each individual
Of the
monster
dungeon or
gets you
something?
experience.
Okay.
It's like once you complete the
interesting.
dungeon, then you
Milestone
get like
experience.
a big
Yeah.
jump.
Yeah.
You know?
And what I like about this is we're not changing Link. We're not
Yeah.
changing how you play Link. We're saying it's a new character. It's Sheik. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's it. And everybody wants to know what that story is anyway.
I know. There's so many good stories that they haven't touched
There's
upon.
7 years of
There's-
possible
there's
story
a lot
there.
of stuff. Yeah.
Cool. All right, Dan. Let's go into the next one here. Oh well, how many have we rolled?
4.
Let's do one more and then we'll go to break.
Get it, Dan.
Mama.
Do it. Snake Eye. No. I'm
7.
kidding.
Dang
Seven.
it.
Roll
Roll
again. Go
again.
for it.
Okay.
Snake
This is
Eyes.
going to happen more and more. It's okay.
5.
Keep
Five.
going.
Roll
God,
again.
did-
Or a 6 or an 11.
Ooh, don't get
oh my god.
nervous.
That's a 6.
And
2. 8.
8.
Oh,
Okay,
there you
8.
go.
Oh, this is going to be a fun one. This is going to be weird.
Okay.
It might be too easy because we have to
Okay.
make sure we're not just skinning it Zelda. A puzzle game.
Oh.
Zelda puzzle game. How do we make sure that it's not just like Pokemon Puzzle League where it's just Puzzle League but with Pokemon characters?
Puzzle game.
What you do
So-
is you play as a random villager. You go to a town pub. You see Link and a bunch of people sitting at a table, and it's kind of like Mario Party where they're like, hey, jump in and play a board game with us or something.
I'm listening.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I
then
get
you pick your board game, you go from there, and they have different games based on whatever person whichever person you choose to go against.
Okay.
Could we reduce the dungeon down to a tile puzzle game or
Yes.
something?
So
I
know?
agree.
that's what I was thinking. Like, so I think this is a prime time to introduce a new bad guy.
Sure.
Because like if Majora, like we talked
Oh,
about,
yeah,
like
yeah.
how they came in and their thing was masks
Majora
and
a
all
bad
that
guy?
stuff, right?
I
I know it's like don't do that. I don't know. But
Dan.
like, what if we have a new villain come in who wants to challenge Link?
I think that'd be great.
And then that this how they present problems are these intricate puzzles, and it and I don't want to skin it because I still want to keep in the vein of Link, but I think the bad guy needs to be from Marvel, not Carrot Top, Arcade. Where they constantly Arcade and Carrot Top could be
prop jokes.
No, but something.
I see what you're saying.
Something where the bad guy is
Marvel,
obsessed with puzzles. That's how
easily
they
do
present
that.
themselves.
So that's how you get into they wave their wand, just one bad guy throws Link into paintings on the walls. They wave their wand, and all of a sudden, we go top down perspective or whatever, and somehow it's a reverse dungeon builder or something. You're moving tiles or pieces to make sure that the keys to get to the doors to navigate through somehow, or I'm trying to make it so that you're moving the dungeon pieces, not the Link.
I'm getting
feels like a puzzle game.
I'm getting a big Portal kind of vibe too.
Oh, interesting.
Where you can just throw things around, interactable walls and things like that. Yeah.
What if the puzzle is
David hates Portal?
No, it's actually Portal 1 and 2 together is even over Zelda games, my favorite gaming experience I've ever had.
Portal's great.
Yep.
Portal's great.
Yep, it's actually my favorite game.
Okay,
I think you could easily do it with that.
Man, I didn't even realize. I keep on forgetting that Portal's considered.
And I think every dungeon should be different. One could be an interactive dungeon. One could be you play a card game with them that they have.
Whoa, weird. Okay, cool.
Oh, I mean,
one could be Smash the Skulltulas. So they got a little hammer. And you just got to hit the Beatles.
As much as we said we don't want to pick one game and just throw a Zelda skin on it, what if we pick all the games
and throw Zelda skins on them? That's the other way to go.
Yeah,
because then you could say hey, here's the magical arrows, and make it a Portal kind of game where you have to figure out. And then one is a Mario Party thing. One is a Gwent thing. Let's just
hear you.
Let's take all these little mini games.
One's a Warhammer game. He just pulls out a bunch of little guys.
And then then you could even do a Pokemon game where you pick the 4.
Sure.
If we do Breath of the Wild, it happens in one of the horse stables or something. Travelers meet up, and that's what happens. The only other thing we're going to go to break now. That was our 5 minutes for puzzle, but the one thing that I'm still spiraling around is that my favorite thing about puzzle games, and I really enjoy puzzle games a lot. Street Fighter, Puzzle Fighter 2, Tetris Attack, Puzzle League, all of them, Puyo Puyo. I play these games all the time and I love them. The best thing about a good puzzle game is when you have 2 or 3 mechanics that you can master, and they're slightly simple, but you can stack them to do bigger moves.
Gotcha.
And that's really important to me. And I'm wondering, we won't solve this right now, but I'm going to return to my weird little dungeon tile puzzle game, and maybe the mechanics is make a key connect to a door, make a unique item, recontextualize a thing, and like stack it that way. Where
maybe that's the removed step back game. Maybe that's maybe you're building your way out.
Sure.
Because you get transported to the bottom. And then that's when we introduce a Gwent game. All of these little mini dungeons, but you have to master, you have to get so good, you have to play so many times. And then when you unlock it, and then you can move it around to help create a way to get out.
But I love the group getting together to play it in the pub, but what if we embed some of these mini games in some of the tiles that you're navigating? So as you're getting this character to move through, they have to then it turns into a little bit of Mario Party. Then they dive into those games too. Yeah. And that might change how your strategy of moving these tiles is. Mm-hmm. I'm imagining an AI Link is the one moving through almost a Lemmings style puzzle.
Okay, yeah, Lemmings.
And you're playing as maybe it's a removed Link. Maybe you spear it out and then you're looking at the tile. So you're still playing as Link, but you're not controlling the body anymore.
I love that, yeah.
I mean, you can just easily put that here's a magical or something.
It's a tile slider with a ton of strategy. Maybe I'm queuing a little bit off that dungeon in Skyward Sword. That's a tile slider dungeon. That one of those final dungeons.
Fine. It's a good cue.
But anyways,
I also think without making this because I don't want this game to get too big. Because I know we're adding too much.
If it was only me, it would just be the tile slider.
This could be a really fun mobile game too.
Oh, okay. Absolutely, yeah.
Where it's because all the games I feel could be a 4 or 5 little thing.
All right.
A Tetris you can play on mobile.
Sure.
Dan, do you want to go further back? We'll just make it super simple. It'll be Bubble Bobble, but only you play as an Octorok, and you got to pop all the bubbles.
I love that too.
Done.
I love that too.
Thank you. All right, Wrap it up, kids. We're
going to break.
Shop.
We're going to break, and we'll be right back for the remaining. Oh my gosh, 7.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a few more on 5 minutes, and then we might do a speed round towards the end.
All right, cool.
See you on the other side of the break, guys.
Later.
Boy.
Has this ever happened to you?
This video game is bullshit!
Are you tired of gaping plot holes and boring gameplay mechanics?
Look, all I'm saying is that if a full-fledged Krogan is falling off a platform, there's no way Commander Shepard has the upper arm strength to pull him up.
Has reading become just too tedious of a chore?
Ugh, books.
Are you bored of your same 3 murder podcasts?
Shocking. It's the Butler.
Allow me to introduce you to the brand new fan fiction podcast with an X, hosted by our lovely basement-dwelling and real-life Muppet, Dan McCoy.
Well, that's hurtful.
And myself, of course, the blonde bombshell with the blood of Odin and the great looks of Jake Busey from Starship Troopers.
That's accurate.
And with our powers combined.
No.
Oh, you never let me do what I want to do.
Said no, man. We're not doing that.
Fine. Anyway, you can find us on Apple Podcasts wherever you get your fix from. Remember, fan fiction with an X.
It's the first day of school, and I'm walking around downtown Chicago with hundreds of other students. Everyone's getting back from summer break, and you can tell that they're happy to see each other after a couple months. For me, however, it's been a little longer. Hi, I'm David, and I want to introduce you to Returning Student, a documentary podcast that I've been making about my return to a college that I left 20 years ago. I'm back in the same city, at the same school, the same student ID number. Everything else feels completely different. My fellow classmates are literally half my age. My professors work in my industry. Sometimes I wonder why I've come back at all. But then I get the opportunity to sit down with one of my professors and have a conversation with them, which usually yields a little bit of wisdom. You can find the show on all major podcast providers, as well as our website, returningstudentpodcast.com. A lot has changed over the past 2 decades.
All right, and we are back. Gentlemen, I'm having a great time.
Me too.
Roll them dice.
Oh, and on break, here,
Yeah.
I was noticing a pattern because we're going to be rolling a lot of repeating dice. I think what we're going to do is if that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, we'll just default to the number, I guess technically lower.
Yep.
And then if it's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12, we'll round to the number that's, I guess, higher that we
So
have.
remember all that right now.
Yeah.
Good. Here we go.
Here we
I'm
go.
just going to look at David and tell him when.
What is it?
6.
Already did it.
6 turns into a 7, which
Already
we've
did it.
done, which turns into an 8, which
Already
we've
did
done,
it.
which turns into, this is going to be a fun one.
9.
Number 9, it was the 5th most asked thing. Zelda spin-off as survival horror.
Oh.
How do we do
yes.
this? I mean,
Well,
immediately
hold on. I
start-
gotta get my nipples down.
Jeez, this is
And
a family
see-
show.
and
Oh, sorry. I
And
get
see,
excited.
we weren't in like 5 seconds. I told you he was
I
going to say
love
the word
it.
nipples.
I love horror. First of all,
okay.
Twilight Princess, best zone.
Okay.
Or the
all right.
Dark World.
So
from-
is,
Okay, so what?
Man, there's a lot of
what-
options
okay,
here.
what? Whew, calm down. Calm down.
Ah.
What do we think? What game is the best jump-off point?
I think Twilight Princess in general is the darkest game, but I think the darkest experience, and we don't have to jump off here, is technically like Under the Well in Ocarina, where there is literal blood on the ground and torture devices.
Okay.
Bongo Bongo. That whole
Okay.
thing was terrifying.
Yeah.
The
Okay,
ghost ship.
yeah.
That, like,
Yeah.
but
What about all of Majora's Mask too? That was pretty
that was
That's pretty
depressing.
spooky.
That's pretty
Yeah.
spooky.
I definitely think that the what are they? The Gibdo, the screaming mummies,
Oh,
have to be a
God.
part of this.
Yeah.
So what do we do? What is our jumping off point? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's its own thing.
Maybe its own thing. But I think there's so many ghosts, like Pose, like all the apparitions that we see in the Zelda franchise. Like, let's maybe
there's so many undead.
Maybe
Yeah.
we talk about that. Maybe we.
Okay.
But okay,
Staples of survival horror.
Yeah, I was gonna say
limited resources.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? We got to go there.
Limited capability of dealing with enemies and monsters.
Uh-huh.
Definitely some jump scares, things of that nature.
Is this first person? Is this? It could be. Is this
I'm gonna say
person?
first person to make it scarier.
Okay.
Very dark. I want
it.
to play as Zelda.
Interesting. Yeah.
I want to go that route. The
Oh.
well. Where's the well at again? That's
It's in the bottom of Kakariko Village.
That's right. So I would love to see her go through the Lost Woods to the well.
Yes.
And when we get there, the town is just empty.
Okay,
Yeah.
I hear you.
The Spirit Temple, not the
Wait.
Spirit Temple. Sorry, under the well is Hyrule family lore.
Yes.
It's like
So
where they
it
would
fits
like
perfect.
torture Sheikah and stuff.
Yeah.
I think.
So what if? Okay, I like this one, but I'm gonna throw a
Go for it.
What if so the Deku tree is dying,
Okay.
Ooh, again.
and
Perfect.
okay, and so but like it's
The second
rot, it's rotting.
Okay.
It is so like we're talking Tim Burton,
Okay.
and she has to go under because you go in it and underneath
Yes.
it. And so what if you take that like already subterranean, but like just rotting, disgusting, dark, and she has to find a way to get to the like core root of him,
Okay.
and it just gets darker and like so I don't know. That was
You're
just
talking
Wait, here we
Yeah.
go. Here we go. Okay, I know how to pull them together. She's going under. No, it's under the well. I don't remember what it's actually called. Is it?
I know. I'm trying
It's
to
not
think.
Spirit Temple is also spooky, but that's that might be down there too, because it's
I
the
think it
Shadow
is.
No, Shadow Temple's down there. Spirit Temple's the one out in the
That's right, yeah,
in
Shadow
the
Temple.
desert. Shadow Temple's the super speaker one with a
I know,
lot of
you're
the
just like-
blades and the whatever.
This is for the people watching.
I think that really might be the dungeon that's really under the well. But we'll
I
just
think so,
kind of
yeah.
Yeah, Bongo Bongo. That's Shadow Temple.
yes,
Yep.
absolutely, yeah. So we'll say Shadow Temple for now. There's like a mini dungeon called Under the Well. That's all kind of the same thing.
Yep.
But we'll say Shadow Dungeon, Shadow Temple. How about she goes to Kakariko to go down there to do something because of some motivation that's connected to her family and how it is a Hyrule family kingdom connection. As she's exploring, there are more tunnels and things and whatnot, and she gets to a super creepy tunnel and finds herself in the area you just described.
Perfect.
And she realizes that there's a subterranean connection coming up into the Deku Tree or something like
Yeah.
that. And that's like an Act 2 little reveal or something like
Yeah.
that.
And for the resource guarding, what if like so whatever's killing? So is Deku Tree going to be like the main where we end?
Well, maybe we
Because
come
I
back
think
to
getting
Shadow.
back out of the forest and everything.
Because
okay
like,
will be
but I think we have to go down and to fight the whatever is
Oh, sure,
killing
yeah.
the Deku Tree. But like, what if whatever it's doing is drawing all its energy? It's and
Sure.
and so it's like this black hole. So the resource guarding is the closer you get to it, the less powerful you are. So the game
not only
gets-
less powerful, but damn, but you're also your sanity. And we'll do it like that one horror game.
and you start
Eternal
to like
Darkness.
yeah.
Eternal Darkness.
and you start to like hallucinate.
Yep.
This is
certain
fun.
things.
I'm liking where this
I
is
would
going.
love it.
And so it's like, say you have like a magic meter. Every level or whatever you get closer, you get less. So you need to, like, you can't just be casting spells or whatever you want Zelda to be able to do. You have to learn how to only cast it when necessary.
I love this. I love that it's
Ooh,
not
yeah.
ammunition for a weapon.
Right.
It is her power, but it gets weaker as she gets closer.
And like one of the things she
And-
does
and-
is like
and
she
in-
has a
in-
light because it's so dark.
There is
and
that.
then as you get darker, like she can't.
Oh my
she
gosh,
can't
even the light gets
so even
smaller?
the light
Yes.
gets smaller. So as you get closer to the enemy, like it almost becomes claustrophobic. You can only see so
And
far.
that may not
ahead of
even
you.
be a linear experience. There might be times where you start to get closer to this proximity, and then other parts where you start to get away. You're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you might have to even make strategic choices of how far do you want to risk reward that thing. And so in Ocarina of Time, it's Ganondorf who has killed
Dwarf.
Well,
Dwarf.
it's like it's Ganon,
Ganon.
inside
Ganondorf.
It's Ganon inside Ganondorf. That's why I kind of said it that
Right,
way.
yeah.
Ganon
But,
dork.
what a loser.
Got him.
Get a life, kid.
Got him. Like,
Ooh, I'll get you, Link. Ooh.
it's Ganondorf who has killed the Deku Tree. If this is existing, I feel like pre-Ocarina. No, is it Teenage Zelda? Is it Ocarina Zelda?
Let's
Teenage
make it
Zelda?
post. Yeah, teenage.
So it's okay. Wait. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
I know the timelines are all very contentious, but there's the three. There's the young Link, old Link. We cue off of the one where Link dies. The hero
Yep.
has fallen. Ganon has. Okay, here we go. Ganon has defeated Link. Zelda now needs to figure out what to do next. And the Deku Tree is a reveal later in the game, but it's been rotting because it has been dead
Yeah.
from Ocarina.
yeah.
And maybe
there
there's a
we
way that she
go.
can still bring life to it, or maybe use the little Deku sprout that's also now
Or at
regrowing.
least kind of pump it like
Yeah, this Deku
Life
Tree
support,
has
yeah.
been dead and rotting for a while. That's
Yeah.
what gives us that environment too.
go.
And so now there's a reason. So Ganon has already still killed the Deku Tree ahead of time in the game. She has to go to the Shadow Temple for reasons.
Well, maybe she goes to this, like, she needs to get to the core root of the Deku Tree, and she knows that. Well, I'm trying to think
I like
of,
this idea that she needs to get to the core of something.
I-
she doesn't know it's the
Tell you what,
Deku Tree.
Dan, you could just have one of the tree's tendrils come down, like the roots go into the.
I mean,
shadow
yeah,
temple.
after the
That's
first,
what I'm thinking.
after the
Yeah.
first mini boss of the Shadow, like she notices the root.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh my god,
That's weird.
oh my!" And then
Yeah.
it's like, "Oh, we have to follow this because
Or
it's
she
a
can
path
even see
down."
a ghost of her ancestor go down to the temple and be like, "Oh," and they're kind of like guiding her.
She
to
does see
something.
a lot of ghosts,
Yeah.
and this is a horror thing, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm down for this.
She may technically have the sword of light, or the arrows of light too, by the way, at the end
Sure.
of Ocarina.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
would still have that. Maybe they're working, maybe they're not. Maybe that's a way to power things up. I'm trying to think of some of the mechanics real quick. We have about we have
yeah.
like kind of a well, we actually pretty
Well,
much have
as I'm
five,
sure
but
you both are familiar with the cartoon now.
Yes.
God.
Yes.
She has used just about every sort of item ever.
Yeah.
If,
So-
if this was cartoon Zelda, this wouldn't be a survival horror. This would be an action adventure.
She'd be fun.
But the other thing that
But
I love,
she's used arrows.
but the other thing I love that games do, like the Batman Arkham, like I think every level she should look a little dirtier, like a
Sure.
little grungier, because
Oh, so
you're
this is-
underground.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
So,
that's
like,
third person though to see her, because right now we were still doing first person.
maybe only
Oh,
in
this was
tunnel
first
sequences
person?
or something.
oh, I didn't realize we were doing
Well,
this
we,
first
we
person.
we opted for first person real early on just to make it more scary. But it
Yeah.
could also be the RE4 look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could always have cutscenes where she goes or the camera goes around. You can see
Sure,
her.
yeah.
Yeah. That's not a
Ooh,
problem.
Love it. I think we're onto something there. Let's move on.
All
Okay.
right.
So number 9 was Dead Tree. Quit hitting the mics, Matt.
You like it.
Here we go. I'm
do
gonna
like
roll.
it now at this
I don't even know.
10. We
We're
haven't
there.
got 10 yet.
Oh
Hey,
gosh, this
wow,
is good.
look at that.
Okay,
Good job.
I think we can spit. I think we can spit this one out. This is a good.
Yeah.
I think we can figure this one out. This might be a Zelda skin. Oh no, we can figure it out. It is. It was the 10th most selected thing.
Oh,
And
wow. 10,
it-
10.
Yeah, 10 to 10. Yeah, you're right.
Good job,
A
viewers.
multiplayer online battle arena, a MOBA.
Oh, yeah.
So how do we
Oh,
make a
yeah.
Zelda
It's
MOBA?
hard not to just skin this.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Because
what
they're
I'm thinking
kind
is because all of a sudden you just turn into okay, it's League of Legends, but with Zelda characters. But how can you find Zelda games?
I
What do you got?
I
What do you
got
got?
you, champs. Wind Waker. You make it a boat battle thing.
Holy moly!
There we go.
Done.
Everybody,
Next.
Age of Piracy
Next.
with Wind Waker.
I mean, I'm
Love
into
it.
this.
And which is weird because Matt has never said anything positive about Wind Waker ever
It's
in his entire
okay.
life.
I just
Except that it needs to be a MOBA. I'm
Yeah.
just
it needs to be a
joking.
MOBA where you fight each other as pirates on boats.
I have very mixed emotions about Wind Waker too.
Yeah, it's okay. I just you know.
I love to love it, and it gets more difficult to love it as I play it.
Yeah,
I mean, literally, like as you literally play a play session, those
Right.
first couple dungeons are gold. It's great.
but I think with the boat aspect and the piracy and stuff, you could easily make it like there's a goblin, a Stalfos boat. Just everybody has a MOBA thing. Kind of make it like a, just a
I
free
mean,
for all.
it'd be a
Do
really
you
fun.
have fleets? Do you make little mini
Oh,
fleets? I'm
absolutely.
sorry,
I
I
mean, it would be
interrupted.
a really fun character creation because you could have like the pirate
Yeah.
version of a Goron. You could have
Create
the
your
pirate
own
version
boats.
of like
Yeah.
everyone like and because I think one of the most entertaining things about MOBAs is the characters they create.
Yeah,
Like people
sure.
really like respond to certain elements or like people and the fan fiction that comes off these characters that only do like 4 actions is insane.
Well,
they get
everybody
their
has to have their
skills.
own dances too, so that'll add to it.
Oh
So.
gosh, that's right.
So,
that's right. That's right. I haven't
mean-
even been thinking about like Fortnite and stuff. I've been thinking only about League of Legends.
I was-
yeah.
Top
I
down
was gonna say,
basketball.
Are we
these
thinking
days.
of like
League of Legends,
League of
yeah.
Legends or what's the other one like Anthem or
Overwatch,
Overwatch or something like that?
Legends,
Because
yeah.
like so because when
I'm
I
visualizing top down boats.
Yeah, when you say
I can see-
yours,
top down.
I think more League of Legends.
I would say
different
so,
maps,
yeah.
different like
Right.
but you could also like maybe try to combine the two where if two meet, it turns into an Overwatch style where you have to battle for the boat.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
kind of cool. I
You
like
know what
that.
I mean?
Or
so-
take that and everybody's battling for the item in the dungeon. You all start in different parts
Could
of
be
the dungeon.
something
You have to
there.
work puzzles and get to each other.
That could be something. That could be something. Is there any? Just in the last like minute here of this, let's do a hard pivot just for the fun of it because I think we actually have a game here. Is there any game that ever happens in any of the Zelda games that could just be its own MOBA? Could we pull out? Certainly not arrow shooting on the horse.
No,
the
yeah.
Gorons. Is there like Goron Ball or anything? There. I don't know if there really is too many like games in the lore.
Not really.
Some Hyrule game.
Fishing.
I'm trying to think from
It's
Link
a
to the
giant
Past, 'cause there's a
fishing
lot of villagers in
competition.
that.
I feel like you guys are.
I think the
ignoring
strongest
me.
option still is this Wind Waker thing.
I think it is.
Again,
Yeah.
guys, fishing.
yeah, I know. Well,
Okay,
okay,
like,
well,
I
and
feel-
that fits in with the Wind Waker thing. We
It
can
does.
throw that in.
You can
No,
actually-
I want Ocarina of
Deep
Time
sea
fishing.
fishing.
Everyone
Just
gets their own
fishing?
little pond, and there's one goldfish, and it's everyone against
Everybody
each other.
just sitting there staring at each other for 5 minutes waiting for that indication to pull.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Sign me up right now.
Oh no, look, he's got the pull. I don't
And
got
call
nothing.
We'll call it the Legend of Patience.
It sounds good. All right,
The
I like
Wakening.
The waiting.
that. I like that. I like this. I think you're onto something with the ships. I love that. I think that's a ton of fun. Let's move on to the next option here.
Okay.
But you also like the fishing idea too.
Well, I think
Oh
fishing
no,
is a part of
it's
it.
great.
Okay, good.
4.
Four
We
have
don't
not
have
had.
4.
Oh, here we go. Well, this one was the 9th most selected,
Oh.
and it is a sandbox game. So now we are talking SimCity
Oh.
Builder.
Oh well, I feel like that's
We had an episode.
Terrytown.
I mean, Terrytown is like the super like the not complicated version of that.
But,
But I agree.
But I think we just take it and
Oh, and
turn it
we
into a
just
thing?
because like I mean. So what the archery range? Well, that was from what game was that? That was
Oh, Link's crossbow training is from Twilight Princess.
Twilight Princess. So we just Terrytown it the
Yeah.
way they did that. We try and keep the same animation style, but like you play the mayor and like you like it's already gone to ruins after Link stopped helping. Da 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 da.
This is
And
post Breath of the Wild.
yeah, and so you have to rebuild the whole thing. You have to really just start, but you get to move the buildings. You get to like flush it out. You want to expand.
There
you
is the
wanna grow.
modular building design. Maybe you're literally building the designing the buildings as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then you can hire who's the construction company?
The Suns or whatever, the Bolsons.
The Suns.
Yep.
Something like and I think you play as them. I think that you or maybe
You play as the guy with the headband.
yeah, and like your job
All
is
right.
like you start with maybe Terrytown's level 1 rebuilding it, but then you get to move on. And
Okay. Yeah. Wait, I think you're onto something.
And then you
here.
get
I
hired
like
in
that.
and then you get all these like kind of rundown towns, and they get better, and you're like bringing people in, and then
And
eventually
they give you items.
and then eventually you get to build your own tower of Hyrule Castle.
Oh, okay.
Because, like,
or
you
do
know,
renovations on the
Yeah,
castle.
and like, well, as your reputation grows, like if you're like
Change the architecture
keeping things
and the
growing
style
up, they're
of
like the
castle.
last thing is like, all right,
And
like
do you know what happens here is in the early days of your playing as the Bolsons or whatever, you're playing as the company that makes the modular houses.
Yeah.
You start at Terrytown with the blocks, but as you progress, so maybe then you start working like with Hatno Village, and obviously there's some more complicated buildings already there.
Yeah.
But you start to continue to build, but then you level up by getting new, more dexterous building
Ooh,
materials.
yeah.
And
So by the
Okay.
time then you're actually doing walls and you know what I mean.
And
So
I-
instead of dungeon items, it's building materials.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so.
yeah.
And,
And
then
then-
finally, the fidelity is so high that you can actually make something as ornate as a castle.
And then I also want it to be like, so if you played Dark Cloud, like so you
yes.
build, but like once you like have this town, like once you build this building, say it's the armory, the person will say like, look, I just really want to be near a stream, but I really hate Jeff.
I love it.
Don't put me near Jeff.
If Jeff's there, I'm out.
And so like each person has their own requirements. So like you have to puzzle it out
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
make sure each person, and before you can
Angle
like
the
complete a
building.
town.
Oh, and that brings in kind of the chatting with the NPCs.
Yeah,
that
and like
happens in
figuring
Zelda
out, and like,
games.
or and like I want my house made of this, so you have to complete the quest that gets you this before this person's happy.
I
and-
like this.
And
So it's-
then we bring in spirit tracks by hiring the spirit train to come through and bring the supplies.
I mean, I'm
Mhm.
not against it. I'm
There
not
we
against
go.
that at all. I love this, and this is definitely spin-off territory where we're taking a side character
Yep.
and giving that series of characters a game inside the universe. That's very
Beautiful.
much a side thing. All right, cool. Let's do the next one. That was great. And yeah, this but that was just right on time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it me?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks
I
for
think
keeping
it's
track
David.
here.
Oh, who
No, I
else?
just rolled. It's okay.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Oh, 5. Damn it.
No, we go up.
Curses.
Oh no, yeah, we can go up though.
We go up.
okay,
So it'd be 11, I think. Or
5,
12.
No,
6,
no, 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 no.
7.
No, we're going down
Down,
numbers.
down.
numbers.
Okay.
So then we're
5,
down
2.
to.
Oh, here it is. It's number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3, we've kind of accidentally scraped this, so I'm just going to let
Uh-oh.
you guys free for all with this. We've kind of
Okay.
leaned into this category. It was the 11th most picked thing. It was a little bit lower. People didn't
So
want
real
it as
popular.
much.
Real
Super
popular.
popular.
Yeah.
Most popular hamburger combo.
A Zelda party game.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Pin the tail.
Party game.
on
I know.
the-
So it's a Mario Party, right? Is that what
It could be.
Yeah.
It doesn't need a overmap. Party game. It also,
can
I
be
think,
anything.
another thing that defines party games, especially from like the Wii generation, is like, can grandma and mom and dad and little cousin all play? Can it pick up and play? Can everybody play together?
Right.
I wanted to, like, I want to think like because the new party games now are like the Jackbox.
Pottery
You know,
tossing with
like, and so
flames.
that's really, but like, how do you bring
Yeah, pottery, yeah.
Pottery tossing. You run into people's houses and go, pottery raid, and just start throwing stuff. And like most stuff wins. Meanwhile, everybody's freaking out in their house, like, what's going on?
You could be ransacking each other's house.
Yeah.
You're trying to make pots and
Yeah.
then go to others and break the others or something.
Somebody
Maybe
makes
you
them
get
some-
items.
What if we
It's
try
like
and
all game.
what if we try and do like the how they did the Olympics with Mario and
There
Sonic?
we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what if we do the Hyrule games?
Sure,
Where
I'm
like,
on board.
And so like everyone
like
like
it.
there's a whole bunch of different people. Like there's a Goron. So because you got to be able to choose who you want to be.
Yep.
And
They get
Zelda-
one representative
it's-
from each tribe.
It's after
Yeah,
I don't
with
care
all the different skills.
I
Yep.
don't care what game it is. It'll be after we defeat everything because we've complained about not being able to play in a peaceful realm.
That's true.
And so
Yeah.
so Ganon's out.
I
So
agree.
like maybe you can play as him.
No,
because
make him a
he's been
side
humiliated
piece.
or something.
No, make him a side piece. He's in the mirror and you see him in the background.
Ganon?
Yeah, from Twilight.
Oh.
I'm in prison.
But it'd be a fun Easter egg about like
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be stuck in the Twilight Realm.
Yeah,
wouldn't
you
he?
run through the Twilight Realm and you have the little,
Or they-
you know,
maybe they
torches.
send it to the
But-
Sacred Realm, but it doesn't matter.
But that's where we do archery. You know, like we pull
Sure.
like
Yeah, you hit the staples.
you hit the staples like the running
Which
game
is fine.
with the button mash. Who's
As
the
long as we hit
fastest,
every
you know?
realm and territory, I'd be cool with it.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
I don't think we really want to like overly flex a plot. I don't think
No,
this
no,
game.
no.
If
No,
you're going to
the
be playing
plot
this,
is getting together in Hyrule
Yeah.
to do the Hyrule games.
yeah, and I think it's just if grandma's going to play and your 2-year-old's going to play, there's the button mashing, there's the Simon Says, there's the I mean, just and to a certain degree, you're just gonna have to like slap a Zelda skin on some Mario Party games.
And I think that's okay as
Yeah.
long
Yeah.
as the skins, like you said, like if there's an arrow shooting one, that's fine. If there's a I can't even think. You could easily just do a pumpkin smashing one or
Yeah.
something. You could
And like the better
probably
you
a
can-
little river raft ride. That's
Sure.
a common thing in Zelda
Oh,
games.
yeah.
Oh, and
that's
it's
a big
all
one.
over like Hyrule. It's over everything. So
Dodge the boulders on Death
Yeah,
Mountain.
exactly.
Yeah.
There's the lava race. There's the skiing, and there's the
Water
there's
slides,
the gliding.
yeah.
There's like, I mean,
And to make it super cost effective, they use the Breath of the Wild architecture.
Sure.
already,
Oh,
right? Like
yeah.
it's like the way that crossbow is in Twilight. I think you just stay in Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
And we go
I
for
would
it.
like to introduce skins to these games because normally, like, it's Mario Party. It's like, I would like to just be as like a different version of Luigi.
Can I be a poisonous toad?
Like, can I just be Luigi with the proton pack from,
or like the white flower power up?
yeah, just something, just.
Oh, and this is where we definitely have a Bokoblin as a playable character because we have to
sure.
Mario Kart it and like put the Koopa in there just
Yeah.
for the
Yep.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep, I always dig that. So I think that's a pretty
think we
easy
got it.
one.
Yeah,
But
that's cool.
fun.
Yeah, that was an easy one. But
All right.
makes
So
sense.
let's
I
see.
understand why that was the 11th.
I don't.
Well, that's not my problem.
You'll see what the 12th is, but let's roll again. We're getting close here.
Is it Mahjong?
Snake Eyes. He actually got the
Two.
2.
Oh, guys. Well, okay. I hope this isn't too close. Let's try to stay true.
Oof.
Sports game, a Zelda sports game.
Oh.
Now, not. I think this is not multiple sports. I think this might be the
like Madden.
Quidditch World Cup version of
Yeah, this is like. But what's
what's a sport in Zelda?
okay?
MMA.
So okay.
Make him just go.
Sumo. There's the sumo
Yeah.
thing. But
He pulls out his sword and they're like, nah,
Nah,
buddy. He's like,
nah. Then he pulls out his what was it called?
the rock gauntlets or whatever it is.
They had
sports
the
game.
handy
Okay.
glove
I
from
think
yeah.
it needs to be team sports.
But I think.
Oh,
we-
teams- okay,
I
we can
think
do
we.
I don't know.
could-
I'm just thinking like
Right.
make it look like a soccer field. Make it look like a basketball
See,
field. Make it look
okay.
like when you see it, you're like, oh, that's a sports game.
Let's make
Gotcha.
our own sport.
Sure.
Oh,
Like
there we
Final
go,
Fantasy
yeah.
did it with what's it? 10.
Yeah, they did it with Blitzball.
Well, it's a little bit like EA kind of making the Quidditch game
Yeah,
way back in the day.
like
Like
so.
Quidditch.
I think we have we have a blank check. Like
Yeah.
there is
Right.
absolutely nothing telling us we can't do this or that. Do we want it in the air? Cool. We put them on the loft wings. Do we want it on the ground? Cool. Like
No, I agree. Yeah.
Is it
But
is
like-
it ball in goal game? Is that what it is?
well, that's just it. Like
Ooh.
because I mean, so much of our real world sports is essentially ball in
It-
goal.
you're right,
is
it
it like a
is.
team builder? Is it like football where you need to like have a this
Mhm.
that? Is it I can be the only person on my team and I
I say
do
a
all of
relay.
the
Let's
work?
go relay. That way, there's different parts to it. Maybe there's a jumping course, a running course, a pulling
okay.
course.
But now I think we're getting too
But-
close to the Olympics thing.
A little close.
well, a little close. But
What if
at
it's
least
a sport?
Yeah, but I think we should try and muscle this as we create a sport. Because like I mean, it would be so easy to just be like, oh, it's the official game of Hyrule.
I like this making a fantasy sport thing
Yeah.
because it
Sport.
does hold it as a single sports game. Like,
Okay.
like you don't buy a soccer and baseball game; you buy a
Right.
soccer game.
So let's combine it like lacrosse does.
Okay.
You got to do multiple elements to one game.
Okay.
So everybody gets a stick or a staff, or like maybe everyone gets a bow.
Yeah.
And they get to shoot at other people while they're not with like real arrows, like padded ones.
We
which-
pat them in the front.
Yeah.
They're light arrows.
Light
So they go
arrows,
like
yeah.
ping,
Ping,
whenever they
something,
hit
yeah,
you.
or they
Yeah, except
blind
light
you.
arrows are the only thing that actually can kill Ganon.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he's not invited, David.
Yeah, that's why
okay?
he's not.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody else is just
but they
it's nothing.
using my weakness.
That's not fair.
No, I like this. Yeah, I think it's
Well, you definitely have to combine the multiple. Yeah.
But I think it's ball and goal.
Okay.
that's fine because honestly, baseball, basketball, and football, and all of those are ball and goal. Well, not
Yeah.
baseball. But anyways, yeah, I think that's okay. Bring the thing to here to there. It doesn't have to be a literal ball, but it is like
Maybe
your
like
pass.
maybe a sky hockey. But I think that's Quidditch.
I liked the idea of different. Everyone, some people get a Deku stick, some people get different items.
the frontliners get sticks, backliners get bows.
We might also accidentally be making our MOBA right now too. I just
Oh, you're
realized.
right.
Oh, there we go.
And then one person is designated as the ball runner or the item runner.
Mhm.
So
and
is
then
this-
they have to
is this
block and stuff.
online? Do I play this with a bunch of friends, or
Sure,
can
I
I
don't
play
see why
this
you
game
couldn't.
by myself?
I think we
Both.
cue off of a typical sports game, which is usually single player, but isn't it like you can bring
Yeah.
a couple folks in and play together, like,
so like
four
so
people
like
or
essentially
something?
Madden. I can play a football
Yeah.
game by
Right.
myself.
I think so.
But I can also play online with other people.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think when a bit like that Quidditch game, when someone plays this, they're like, "Oh, I'm playing a sports game." I think
Yeah.
is how that has to feel. Also, I think we should move on, but I think we kind of got something there.
So we've just decided
Okay.
we'll create our own sport.
So,
Moving
so
on.
the item.
Oh,
would be a
well, no,
key
we can
named
dig in,
into
we
a
can
chest.
dig in.
No, it's fine. We can move on.
We went a little fast on the one beforehand. Yeah, I don't know, making the mechanics. I like I think we have the runner. Maybe we can make
Okay.
it real silly and there's like a Kuko situation
Absolutely.
or something. Trying to get the Kukos in the chicken pens.
Kukos are the extra points, like the golden Quidditch thing, where you just got to catch it.
Yes.
It just runs around.
Yeah, and then there's a goal in the middle where you can pick it up and throw it to collect them while the other
maybe
running's
the
happening.
Kuko has a key on it, and there's a chest in the middle, and you have to
Got
hurry
it.
up and unlock it before the guys hit
I
you.
love
with
this.
the
I love this. I love this.
Yeah. I don't
I
like
love this.
being hit by a stick. So
And,
that's
and of
right.
course,
that's
if any,
good
and
motivation
then that
right there.
Kuko, we obviously stay true to the lore where it's
Yeah.
like if it accidentally does get hit by a whatever, all the Kukos come
Yep,
in,
and then
and
your
it's a
team
bad
just
thing.
gets penalties.
There's a little
left
bit of
and
risk
right.
reward
Yep.
there.
Okay.
We have different tiers of ways to move the quote unquote ball back and forth into the goals.
Yes.
Are there refs?
Absolutely.
There have to be, and what could they be? Could that be Tingle? Could that
Yes,
just like
there
for
we
the
go.
like,
Tingle's
Tingle's
around.
up on a balloon looking down,
Yep.
floating over?
Who's the guy who sells everything?
Beetle.
He's in the stands selling like peanuts and popcorn and
Well,
stuff.
Yeah.
I think the mask guy from Majora's Mask will be up there selling all that.
No, okay.
The mask guy, and then or maybe Beetle is
mask
the
vendor.
shop that you go to between the matches
Yes.
to like buy new equipment for your
Oh, there we
characters
go,
or
yeah.
whatever,
Upgrades and
you
all
know?
that other
Upgrade
stuff.
your stick.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
Okay,
I like
think
it.
I feel good
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah,
I feel
I
good
like
about this.
that. That's
I like that we put a few details in
worked
there.
out.
Yeah.
Let's do another roll. Let's see. What do we have left? Oh, okay.
It's like
Maybe 2 left.
Nope, 8 would be 12.
12.
8.
11?
So
No, we already
No,
did
we did
12.
11. 12.
It's 12. All right. So this is the least asked. No, it's the second. That's the third to least asked for. And maybe I get why. I think it's one of those that could be fun, and it might be difficult for us to make it unique. A Zelda racing game, the racing genre.
oh, okay, racing.
I think
I mean, the go-to is we make a Zelda Mario Kart, but maybe it could be more. Maybe it could be like an actual game that's more like the
Crazy Taxi.
Crazy Taxi.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, technically Crazy Taxi is a racing game. You have to get
No, I mean I got that aspect, but like, what kind of cars are they making?
I mean, but
Is he like riding around on a horse or something?
Yeah.
A carriage?
Maybe. So
Okay.
horses, but we have a motorcycle.
If we stick to...
We got a motorcycle, don't
Oh my
we?
God! Is it? Do we just have some fun with it and we
What-
make
what-
a,
what
like
if
a
the
dirt
sheep-
bike challenge
Yeah,
Zelda game instead?
What if we start some
could.
new lore where we're unearthing old Sheikah, technology? They made a motorcycle, so why
you're
can't
right,
they make
yeah.
carts? Why can't they make a car? Why can't
Tell you
it's-
what, and then Ganon finds one. He challenges like Grease style from the movie Grease, like, "Hey, my car's faster than yours. Come get me." That's
I
the
mean,
whole plot. There you
Even
go.
Jack X had a pretty cool racing.
Jack X
like,
made
and-
sense though because they
and
were
the-
Mad
the-
Max.
Yeah, but we could. I just
you
saying.
could, yeah. Okay, worst
I
timeline.
mean, just to not just slap a skin on Mario Kart.
Right, exactly. I'm trying
But
to think of that too.
at least Crazy Taxi. What if we combine the two? Why can't we have both where it's like certain races, but in order to gain money to upgrade your car,
so the
you
way some
have to
racing
do
games will
Crazy
have like this
Taxi.
is the trick round.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
and
the
so
speed
that's how
rounds,
you
everything.
practice. Like that's the practice portion because we'll make the races themselves longer and more complicated, not the same. It's like
Damn.
one giant path instead of like doing the same path 3 or 4 times.
right.
I
So
see.
that way you practice by picking people up, doing upgrades, learning how to flip the cars, and each area that you get to. So you start in just Kakariko Village, and then you go to like Death Mountain, and then you do this, and like you're learning how to drive on ice. You're learning how to
Okay.
navigate lava boulders.
Yeah.
And so you make the money, you upgrade your car, and then they're like, the next challenge is ready, and then it implements everything that you've learned from the last 2.
I like this.
and then
That's
you have to like ace it. Or else.
I'm seeing Matt boil over almost like a shaken bottle of soda right now. He
Okay,
has so many
okay,
ideas.
sorry, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So building upon yours, forget multiple races. It's just one giant race around the entire map.
Okay.
And
It's like a death race situation.
like Speed Racer style.
yeah, or
Each car has their own unique tricks and skills, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So instead of buying and building them, everybody just has their own unique trick. And there's different routes, like you were saying too. I think that'd be amazing. Special routes, hidden. You can go underground into dungeons. You can go above.
So the whole game is one
The
race?
whole game is just one giant
With
death
checkpoints?
race. Checkpoints, yeah.
checkpoints where you stop, then you can buy more
Yep,
things.
like pit stops. Yep.
Or you could even break it up to like, depending on how quickly you get there, is how like you get to leave because you can't like say it takes numerous days to do this.
Sure.
We'll do it like bicycling. Like
Yeah.
you clock in and then you get
Yeah,
to leave
just
at this
like
time,
bicycling.
but like everyone has to wait until
Correct.
So I get like
it's like a
an-
cannonball run.
Yeah,
I think
it's
is
like
what
I
it
get,
is.
All
I get
right.
an hour and a half
I would-
head
oh my
start
God, that
because I
sounds
got
great.
here an hour and a half before the the person after me. But we also get time to rest
Yes.
because I don't want to just race the entire time. You need
Sure.
to add more elements.
And maybe, just maybe, what you do is on these checkpoints, we could have a couple side missions where it is like, oh, you got to go help so and so, and that's where you
Yeah.
get your crazy taxi
Yeah.
elements,
There
hurt
we
the goats
go.
or something
And
or
like
whatever.
because I always think you need to practice because I do want the terrain to change.
Okay.
And so like so that way you get a little element of like how does your car handle on ice? What upgrades do you
And
want
that's
to
where
put?
the checkpoint
What do you want
quests
to put
come
in your
Perfect.
car to make your handling a little bit better? Because like
Okay.
I think your car should look different at the very end from when you started. I like
Yeah.
everyone starting in the same.
Well, I definitely want some damage on the cars too. If you take damage, it should show it.
and maybe you
Yeah.
have to like
Oh, yeah, you gotta
repair
repair
that stuff.
repairs.
If you're a terrible
But
driver,
then
you
so-
gotta repair.
we're
but then you
calling
have
them
to,
cars.
But then okay, so real quick, so like if you drive recklessly and you're banging up into stuff,
get a ticket.
then you have
No.
to spend more time in the crazy taxi element to
Okay.
make more money
Get
to
money or
upgrade the
materials.
parts. Yeah,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
because
There
it's
we
like,
go.
and so it's actually it's a reward to drive
Yes.
not safer, but not
But
just like
better.
bounce into everyone and like just be like, I don't want to have to spend 40 days doing crazy taxi stuff
love
to
it.
Yeah, I
unpop
like where
my
this is
cars
going.
if I just drive. But I'll learn not to drive over spiky stuff when I'm doing my crazy taxi stuff.
In real life, it takes a little under 30 minutes to go from one side of the Breath of the Wild map to the other if you're just running.
Okay.
30 minutes?
If you're just running, no horse,
It's
no
a
anything.
big map.
Yeah.
Wowzers.
If you're just doing the normal
I'm
link
not gonna
speed.
tell you how big Skyrim is.
I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Skyrim, that's a whole other thing.
I'm still running across
I'm
this.
still running.
Yeah. So having the Breath of the Wild map act as the track or track around, so if you're in the bike in Breath of the Wild, you can kind of get from one side to the other in a couple minutes because you're going so fast.
Yeah.
So I think we would have to maybe not literally use the Breath of the Wild map, but we would have to kind of expand that thing out a little bit. Really increase
sure.
the density of it or whatever.
You
The
could
detail.
literally use any of the maps, but yeah, you would definitely have to increase the detail.
Build it out. So you could still like the regions would still be in the right spaces, but a race from one checkpoint to another would be a good 5, 7, 8, 9 minutes or something,
yeah.
right? Like I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
that
you'd be
sounds
in
about right.
that region, and then you'd go up
I would love to
through-
see a Link to the Past map because then you definitely have a perfect little
But
circle. That
I'm
you
into
can
that
do in
too.
the
The
middle.
one thing I want to make sure that we're agreeing on is I just don't want to do the same lap 4 times.
No, you wouldn't.
Well, I was thinking about
I want to
that.
get away from that because,
Yeah.
like,
I was
That's
thinking
boring.
about this, and I was thinking, what if I think there could be 2 other mechanics. Oddly, we're spending a lot of time on this one,
It's
but
fine.
we only
It's
have
good.
one
this
more
is probably
after
the
this.
most
It's good.
fleshed out one that we've
I
come
know.
across, like, to be
I
honest.
know, and I think it's because we're a little less nervous, and because we only have one more left, and like we're doing fine on time, is what it is. Oh yeah, we're about 30 minutes into this half, so we'll get out of here in just a bit. But I was thinking about this, and so the idea of racing to a checkpoint and then doing the things you need to do, and how that might change how quickly you can go to the next checkpoint, a la Cannonball Run and
Yep.
all the rest.
Love it.
I think the day-night cycle maintains all the time, so it might change if you have to leave at night or different parts of your.
That's awesome.
It might subtly change if you're in a certain region at nighttime or not. But then I was thinking, I also don't want to do the just race around all of Breath of the Wild 4 times thing, because hopefully, even going around Breath of the Wild all the way once is hopefully that's like 12 checkpoints, right? Like it's almost
Right.
every little region in
Yeah.
town.
Yeah.
Is that could be a whole season? Oh, a literal season, because you
Oh.
can do the track again. But now, even though there's still ice areas and frozen areas, what if the entire thing was affected by a larger season, like a 4-season mechanic?
Yes.
So you might be in the snowy mountains might still have some snow in them in the summer, but they're really piled up with snow in the winter. Or
And
there might be a
pretty
lake you
deadly,
can go over that's icy during the winter, but in that area you have to
love
go
it.
around it or something like that. And you might even be able to plan for these different mechanics by the things that you buy. And the last thing I want to say is we've been calling these things cars, and we're saying, okay, yeah, it's the divine beasts have more. Maybe yes, but maybe it starts as horses and carriages or something, or
Sure.
or one of the inventor dude makes a little tiny magic engine, Sheikah engine,
Yeah.
but it's like really broken down, and you slowly build up, and somewhere in the upgrade cycle, that's when you start getting the divine beast elements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't think the game starts with, you know what I mean? I think the game starts with maybe horses and little puttery little
just
carriages.
Running. You're
Yeah.
just running.
Just running, just grabbing wheels, and trying to make
first
something.
He's in a
You jump
wheelchair.
on-
He's like, let's go.
First checkpoint,
Wheels
jump
up.
on a horse.
You know what I mean? So those are some of my final thoughts on that.
No, I like that. That's great. Because
So maybe that solves your not just racing around 4 times.
Yeah.
it ends
'Cause
with
that's-
Voltron,
look-
not starts with.
Because, like, and again,
Oh, yeah.
I know I'm always like, what's the plot? But, like, that's why I really don't like playing Mario Kart, because I'll race twice, and I'm like, I'm done. Like, that was,
Yeah.
I don't feel like I
Yeah.
need to do this
I
anymore.
think this brings a little bit more of that, brings a little bit more dynamics to it, a little bit more long game. Hopefully you could work a couple unique items in there that might drastically change your car, so
Yep.
you get inflatable wheels and you can still kind of go over the water during
Yeah.
the summer
or
or,
you
something.
get glider wings that happen one time. So if you fall off the mountain, you get one chance of not
Yeah,
dying.
yeah, I love that. I love that because there's the gliding anyway. Wow, I think we're making a racing game here that's pretty good. And then
Like
maybe like
wacky
the
races.
I could imagine the DLC being like the Link to the Past map or something.
Oh,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like they
Different
build
maps
another.
and,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could go for
or one that just changes the graphics to like 8-bit.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
It would be like
Deep,
your
deep,
cart's just like 4 different blocks, and you're like, well, that's what I signed up for.
So
If I
again, the
squint.
4th, like every time you go
The Mario
around,
Kart, ba-da-da-da-da-da, like, you know, from
would be called
Super Mario.
seasons. It's a 1-year thing. It would be called seasons. So in season 2, you're going into spring, you're going into fall, or whatever. Maybe maybe it's not. Maybe they do a little deep cut and they actually use the Oracle of Seasons wand to like
Yeah, we're
change.
talking.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
but
Bribe
again,
the weather witch.
it's not just that you're not just on the track when it's wet or snowy or dry or sunny. Like they could if it's designed well, shortcuts or different ways to go will
Yep.
change because of the seasons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it does recontextualize each time.
And like I said, yeah, beautiful.
Let's move on.
Love it.
I think we have one left,
Roll
right?
it.
Is that all
Nailed
11?
it. Yeah. Oh,
So
I think all we have.
We don't even have to roll. I think
Roll
it's
it
number
down.
1. I think it's 1.
It's number 1.
Roll it down.
All right, guys. I don't know how to do this one.
Love that.
This might be a little hard to
Challenge
figure out,
accepted.
but you can, maybe there is one genre we haven't done yet, and it's a Zelda game as a first-person shooter.
I thought you were going to say dating sim, but okay.
Well, there's a Tingle dating sim game in Japan.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't
Man,
come out
they get
here.
all the good stuff.
He's like super buff. It's pretty weird.
All right.
And spoiler alert, he always ends up lonely. Like,
Does he really?
No matter
Oh,
what
that's
happens,
so
like
sad.
you get to the last date and she's like, I think we should just be friends. And he's like,
Oh.
Tingle sad.
I'm gonna pull up Tingle dating sim, but let's
Please, I
How,
would
how
love
do
to
we
see
do a
that.
first-person shooter?
First person
There, so there was a
Sure.
little bit of first-person shooter elements in crossbow training. There was a little bit of walking
Right.
around and shooting goblins and stuff. Pseudo first-person.
Ooh, oh, that is a good question. Man, okay.
Okay, well, you play as Zelda.
Okay, we've been going to that well a lot, but okay.
But well, okay, because like I'm trying to think magic. Because the only thing I can think if I'm playing as Link is the bow and arrow.
I was going to go straight to a villain of
And I-
Wizrobe, but
Who?
Wizrobe, the little magician guy who's got the little staff. he just-
Interesting.
But like I feel like, especially since I've been playing so much Hogwarts Legacy, you could easily make the wand, although it is just one thing, and
Mhm.
give it any kind of power you
Right.
want. So fire, ice.
Well, and they had that in Link to the
levitate.
Past too. You had
you
the
know,
different wands and
And
staffs.
so like I think
Yeah.
it would just be like a computer or completely customizable wand. You get to make whatever color it wants, and so that's cool.
I don't want to pull us off. That's the back of the box of the Tingle dating sim.
Nice.
Oh my God, I love it.
Youch. I mean, it's
Okay,
got some
well,
trapezoids.
I got some research to do when I get home. But
All right, weirdo.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know what it is. I mean, we could go like, oh, let's have them all be the bad guys and they're fighting each
Yeah.
other. So what makes? Because also first-person Zelda is Skyrim.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
it really is. Yeah. You know what? Let's just go crazy. Let's
Yeah.
just go straight. Link's had a bad day.
Oh my
He
gosh.
just
'Cause
he
you
has
had
one
a
of
bad
the
day.
people make him a gun real quick. And they're like,
Gosh, this is family show. There's a family show.
by gun I mean
Boomstick.
crossbow.
Boomstick.
A Deku stick,
Yeah.
and the Deku stick can shoot nuts. And he's like,
Sounds good.
You know what? Everybody's making me mad, and I just want to give him a little.
I
he
just
has a
want to shoot
slingshot.
nuts at people. That's
I
all
just
I
wanna
want to
shoot
do
nuts
all
at
day.
people.
And he's also country now.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
I'm so tired of you all.
Country Link's not happy.
And he
my
also
gosh.
talks too.
He does
apparently.
now. He talks.
We're
yeah.
going off the rails here.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, I don't
Bring
know
it
if there's
back,
a great way.
bring
I
it
think
back.
the answers are obvious, and that's why they're not as exciting.
Yeah.
It's like everybody running around with a slingshot or something, and they're not even shooting at each other. They're trying to execute things.
Because the problem is it's a first-person shooter, and if we're
Yeah.
gonna try and keep it family-friendly, it has to be magic. So you just have little
Yeah.
light bursts
or
or
like
fire bursts.
foam arrows, but that's not what we're gonna
Okay,
do.
wait.
Yeah. So like
We'll
that's
go
why I
back
think
to-
you have to use a magic wand.
No.
Or
Go-
like the hands that can, or maybe the hands are doing something
Ooh,
like.
wait. Yeah, hard resistance from Matt over
No.
here.
Go,
What do you think?
Go to
Matt,
Kid-
he,
we have
he
Child
hates everything
Link.
I like.
Let's
so.
go back to Child Link.
Okay.
Go back to the slingshot idea. Do a Dennis the Menace story. He's just a rambunctious little Link. He's just causing troubles, and he's got to run from Johnny Law the whole time.
What if we always keep the slingshot, but it's the ammo that's the big upgrade?
There
Yeah,
we
he
go.
can change. That's
There we
easy. They're
go.
magic, different magic
I
seeds
mean,
of
and
whatever.
so we can upgrade, of course, the
Perfect.
slingshot, and it will
Yeah.
change appearance. But like, we don't need to have guns.
Yeah,
like
agreed.
this kind of like you can have the sniper nut, or you can have
Sure, or the
can
have-
slingshot that shoots faster.
Yeah.
and the one that magically turns into a net or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, it's plausible, and I don't hate your idea of just saying
Or
this
just have like
Toon
some
Link
sort
or
of
Kid
other
Link.
new villain, like encourage him to do these bad things
yeah.
and make him like the antagonist, like a little
I mean,
like.
you have young Link in all of the Enchanted Forest.
Yeah, I'm saying
I mean,
maybe
you-
some weird
get lost in
Majora's
there.
Mask type person shows
I
up
mean,
and goes,
you
"Hey,
can literally
do
throw,
bad stuff. It's fun."
Yeah.
Oh.
And then he's like, "But it's
Oh.
bad," and he's like, "But it's fun."
Can you imagine if Majora was reintroduced back into the franchise through a spin-off game? People would be livid.
Oh, it
They'd
would
be like, "That's how he comes back,
Yeah.
like a punk."
"Oh yeah,"
Or its
everybody would
demise.
be mad. Oh, that'd be great.
It's like in how'd you defeat demise? Like the power behind Ganon. Oh, I shot a seed.
Special slingshot.
I shot a
oh.
seed in his face, and he went.
That's it, we're doing that,
"Ooh,
yeah."
You kids, and just like,
Yeah.
oh.
I think the
Too bad
only other way
things
you do
like-
this is because the mechanical act. I mean, but we do get pseudo first person with like Link shooting arrows, but it's always at bad guys. So you either need to be the bad guys doing to keep it like family friendly. The bad guys have to be the ones doing the bad thing,
right.
or the good guys have to be going against the bad guys to be saving and protecting the good thing. Right?
Okay.
It's that simple.
So let's
we
flip
can't
it
have
then.
good people fighting with good people
Okay.
cause.
So then let's flip that, and the demise spirit shows up because let's go all out.
Yeah.
And demise shows up
Or
and starts going to regular villagers and making them bad, and Link has to shoot them back
I mean,
to good.
you can
Okay.
even just say like a jewelry salesman comes into town and sells all of these
okay.
wares, but everything he sold it was a piece of Demise's jewelry.
Okay.
And so everyone
Yeah.
has a little
Easy.
itty bitty microscopic bit of Demise. And so then it helps for aiming, because whenever you fight the person who's
There we
possessed,
go.
you have to shoot off.
Yeah, they've got a weird glow or something.
Yeah, it's like this person bought
They
the
get
earrings, this
possessed
person got the
randomly, yeah.
necklace, this person got the
Sure.
bracelet. So you have to aim and like shoot off
Wait,
the things that
Would it
they're
glow
wearing.
a bright color so we knew where to shoot?
I mean, it's not the worst idea.
No, they just grow a big eye.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Big
big
eye that's
yeah.
off their body.
Even
Yeah, so
better.
you know where to
Love
shoot. It has to be yellow. Oh, well,
As
I think
is
that's about as
tradition.
good as that's going to get, and we are kind of at time here, but that was a lot of fun, guys.
That was fun.
Boom.
Any standouts that we came up with?
I want to play the racing game.
Dude,
I
the
kind of
race-
do too now.
Yeah, I was gonna say the racing game really did.
It was barely. It was the second least requested.
I
I think.
know.
The
but
racing
man,
game sounds cool.
that and the horror game.
I
would
think
do both.
because
The
everybody. when
horror
you-
game was great too.
I would play the horror game. And it would probably be. It would definitely be teen, but even Breath of the Wild is teen these days. But
I would download the platformer, the one we
Oh,
did,
would
you?
the mobile platformer.
I think the reason racing wasn't voted very high is because the go-to is Mario Kart clone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we did start there, but when we kind of went, I don't know, when you brought this whole like slight Cannonball Run thing in,
Yep,
it
Cannonball
recontextualized it. It brought the things you brought up in,
Yep.
and it
And the
kind of
pit
turned it
stops.
back into an
Yeah.
adventure.
And the
Yeah.
pit stops make it great because, like
And
you said, yeah.
because what did we do?
Quests.
We brought in plot.
That's right.
I mean,
And
sure.
plot moves the game. Thank you. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you. I'm here all day.
I'd enjoy the simulation game. That'd be kind of cool. So
Oh, that would, yeah.
I think standouts were kind of the survival and the racer.
Yeah.
The puzzle game.
Puzzle
Could be
has
fun.
had
I
some
think that
legs.
it has a lot
the
of
dungeon,
potential.
Yeah, the dungeon one.
And
where
we were a little excited about simulation, and I would not mind. I don't need it in my life, but I would not mind playing a full, proper role-playing game. Oh, that was the Chic one.
Yeah.
In between that would be cool.
I would be
I'd
down
up
for that. Yeah.
All
I
right,
would
there
be
it is.
totally down for that.
All right, Matt and Dan. Matt and Dan. I almost
Yes.
said your names
Yeah,
in
yeah,
reverse.
That's fine.
Happens all the time.
Literally, we do it too. It's fine.
Thank you so much for being here. This was a total blast.
Pleasure.
I can't
Thank
wait.
you. Thank you for
Moments
having
from
me.
now, we're going to go record the fan fiction season 1 episode where we're going to talk about Jurassic Park, and I can't wait to be a JP
I
fan.
can tell you don't want to talk about it. That's fine. We'll get through it.
Let's see if Dan, I'll
Yo.
start with you. You've been kind of plugging fan fiction in some of these other episodes
I
we've
have.
already recorded. Why don't you do your thing, and then Matt, I'll let you kind of
Well,
plug
let's-
yourself in whatever you want as well.
So,
Okay.
first of all, David, thank you so much for letting us be part of the first episode. Super cool to be here.
Oh,
Thank you guys,
special.
everyone, for listening. If you have some time, me and Matt have our own podcast, Fan Fiction.
We do?
I've
heard. Yeah, no.
You should
it's-
We've
really-
been recording those
you should-
conversations?
You
You've
should
been recording
really
these?
start listening, Matt. You have said some very interesting things.
Oh, I know.
I thought we were
Yeah.
just practicing.
Yeah, you didn't say it was live.
You said the red light meant we're practicing.
That's right.
But no, we did season 1. It's already out there. It's video games. Season 2 should be mid-season right now when this comes out, hopefully.
Correct.
It's about our favorite franchises, and we celebrate Elevate.
Wait, did you say mid-season? This episode we're recording right now is literally coming out in like a week and a half. So that
Okay,
I
so
don't
that's
know if you'll be
probably
started
not
just
out
yet.
yet, but set your
Spoiler
calendars.
alert.
Well, we're also having a quick production meeting because we have to pick exactly when your season 2 starts, but it is
Oh, okay.
soon.
Well, we're all learning things
So-
today, and
so-
I think that's
so
what's
heads
really
up.
important.
Welcome to a 6-5 meeting.
Yeah. We celebrate Elevate, where we talk about our favorite movies, and then we'll talk and pitch what we really want to see in the next 3, because we're doing trilogies for season 2.
Correct. Yeah, we're gonna do movie trilogies and all that, and I think Dan's pretty much hit the nail on the head there. Yeah.
So look us
I
up.
think look
Season
that up,
one,
listen.
season 1 is out already. Season out now.
Yep.
Tons of fun. I love listening to you guys. There are some days I've already told Dan this personally, but I'll tell you, Matt. There are some
Ooh.
days where I'm walking down the streets of Chicago and I just listen to the intros. I queue up like episode 1 or 2
I
or
love
whatever it is
doing
when
the
you started
intros.
doing it. I listen to it and then you goes, okay, cue the music. I'm like, ha ha ha, next track. And I just listen and I just like have the time of my life for 20 minutes listening to your intros, and it's always a blast.
What's funny too is every time we do the intros, we always say like your name, and they're like, "Oh, David,
David,
get us out of
oh,
here,
God,
David,
what
get
have we
us-"
done?
And it's so funny. I'm like, I'm actually going to meet David today. And I'm
We're
like,
in too deep, David. Get us out.
I know we're in too deep.
It's always
No,
funny. It's
Intros
funny.
are my favorite part of recording. Same with the skits and all that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great show again.
yeah.
So, all
We
right,
like our
everybody.
bits.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Raptor Paint. The show is Another Zelda Pod on Twitter, Another Zelda Podcast on Instagram. And I'm just going to make this one kind of quick. Go to our website, Another Zelda Podcast, where you
Yes.
can find links to all of our things, all of our blogs.
Links.
Links.
Links. Hit
Got
those
'em.
things. Yep. All of us just turned into dads. Just now. Well, two of us. One of us is a
Nailed
dad.
it.
All right.
Nailed it.
Well.
Anyways, thank you so much, guys, and I look forward to listening to all of season 2 of Fanfiction as you make it.
We're making it.
There it
We're
is.
making it now.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks
for
everybody.
Adios.
Bye.